Good morning everyone, you join us just in time for the opening race at Ponds Forge on day 2 of the Speedo BUCS Swim Series Long Course Championships. We get things underway with the women's 200 freestyle. The 3 fastest seeded heats to begin with, so we'll expect to see all 10 of our finalists go in these first 3 races. This is the competition format the BUCS are using for these championships. We will have a number of heats in the same events later on, but for now we are getting underway with Mariel Claude of Exeter in lane 0, Lara Reid Oxford in lane 1, so lane 0 and 1 are the ones closest to us. In lane 2, Lucy Wheeler of Birmingham, Amy Buttle of Surrey in 3, Abby Wood Loughborough in 4, Megan Byrne of Bath in 5, Chantal Smith Stirling in 6. Lane 7 is empty. Catherine Walton of Portsmouth goes in 8, and from Glasgow Caledonian it's Amy Richardson in lane 9. Early pace setter Loughborough's Abby Wood, she went out in 29.05. Completes the first half of the race in 59.84. Quite a healthy lead, 3.5 seconds on Megan Byrne of Bath. She's pretty much shoulder to shoulder with Amy Buttle in lane 3. These heats, of course, all about making a time. If you're in the top 10 at the end of the heats, then you will be racing in the final later on today. We've got a mammoth session for you today as well. Women's 200, men's 200, both freestyles. Women's 50 back, men's 50 back, women's and men's 50 breaststroke, 100 fly, 400 individual medley and 800 freestyle. So hope you haven't made any Saturday plans, because we've got top class swimming to bring you all day. But Abby Wood, very, very impressive in this opening heat. She is going to set the time that they are all going to have to beat, or at least 10 of them are going to have to if they want to get her out of the final. It's 2:02.28 for Wood. Buttle comes back in second place, 2:08.77. Megan Byrne, 2:10.01. But Abby Wood, the pace setter in heat number 1. Loughborough University, great start for them yesterday. Managed to pick up 3 medals in the 3 possible events, 1 of each colour. But all of the swimmers back. Walton, 2:25.4 for the last to touch. And that ends the first heat, which is actually the 4th heat, which means we've got 3 heats of this one to come later. Next up, heat number 5, or the second heat in the women's 200 free. Full house this time, no empty lanes. In 0, Kate Carter from Durham, Summer Kennedy of East Anglia in 1, Sophia Altoft Stirling in 2, Becca Sutton Swansea in 3, Kat Greenslade of Edinburgh in 4, Phyllida Britton UCL in 5, in 6, Very Swanson of Aberdeen, 7, Mel Hall Sheffield Hallam, in lane 8 from Newcastle, Bethany Meir, and in lane 9 from York, Olivia McAvoy again. It's the swimmer in lane 4 who's got the fastest through 50 metres, 28.41. Greenslade opens, second place there. We've got Phyllida Britton of UCL. And remember that benchmark time, 2:02.28 from Abby Wood in heat number 1. Still the fastest seeded heat to come after this, as Greenslade looks to increase her lead at the halfway point, which she does, 58.71, the fastest swimmer through 100 metres. Abby Wood was also under the minute mark. Those two, the only swimmers to go under a minute at the moment. Phyllida Britton of UCL, 1:00.76 and 1:01.70 for Becca Sutton of Swansea in lane 3. But again, Greenslade, I don't think anybody is going to catch her here. Can she set the new fastest time? 2:02.28. is what she's chasing down. It is a strong swim. 2.78 ahead of Britain and 4.02 ahead of Sutton. They're not going to win the heat, but they'll certainly want to put on as much of a show as they can, get as quick a time as they can to try and qualify for the final. So what is the time? 2:02.74, so Greenslade goes into second place. 2:02.74, almost definitely quick enough to book her place in the final. Maybe even a decent lane draw as well for Cat Greenslade. That ends the second heat of the day, which is heat 5 of the women's 200 freestyle. Next up, the final heat, heat 6.
Heat number 6.
The final heat then, the seeded heat, the fastest heat. At least in theory. And Heather Barnes goes in 0 from Glasgow. From Cambridge, Hannah Eastbury in lane 1, and in lane 2, Eva Vickery of Coventry. In 3 from Bath, it's Rachel Cox. Edinburgh's Lucy Hope goes in 4. Loughborough's Candice Hall in lane 5. From Cardiff Met, it's Katie Rees in lane 6. Sydney Bairstow of Edgehill in 7. Siobhan Duncan of Newcastle in 8. I do apologise, Siobhan Durkin. And Helen Lulu of Manchester in lane 9. 28.71 for Candice Hall. Again, just 2 going through in under 30 seconds. Lucy Hope of Edinburgh, the other athlete this time. Those 2 in those gold roped lanes, setting the tone at the halfway point. And it is Hall, 59.97 though, so a little bit slower than both of the previous heats. 2:02.28, 2:02.74, the fastest time so far. Again, these 2 will definitely qualify, but they'll want a good lane draw going into the final. So the fastest 2 times will be in 4 and 5, and then they'll be seeded accordingly as Hall continues to lead. She has done it every split so far. 131.75. Lucy Hope 132.67. It's Eva Vickery of Coventry currently in third wheel, 137.22, and then Hannah Eastbury outside her in lane 1 from Cambridge, 138.96. But watch this now coming through, Lucy Hope. Wonderful final 50 metres from her. She's reeled Candice Hall in. And it is 2:02.62 and 2:03.04. They'll take those times into the final. A final that is going to be incredibly close if the entry times are anything to go by. This could be one of the most hotly contested medals of these championships. So Lucy Hope takes the final heat in the second quickest time. And Abby Wood, who went in the very first race of the day, the fastest qualified, 2:02.28. That concludes the seeded heats in the women's 200 freestyle. And just like that, we move on to the men's. Same format then, 3 seeded heats. Top 10 times making their way through to the final. Let's give you the runners and riders. In lane 0, Christian Ty from Manchester. Andre Belonagoff of Leeds goes in 1. In 2, Ethan Raymond of Bath. Sam Budd, Sheffield Hallam in 3. Joe Litchfield of Loughborough in 4. His stablemate Archie Goodburn goes in 5. And it is the 2 Loughborough swimmers, first and second at the 50-metre point. Charlie Hopkins of Swansea in 6. His teammate Josh Loney in 7. From Cardiff Met, Jacob Cook goes in 8, and Miles Turner of Anglia Ruskin goes in 9. All swimmers under 28 seconds through the opening 50 metres, and now Joe Litchfield of Loughborough starts to stretch out as we reach the halfway point. It is the two Loughborough swimmers at first and second. 54.33 for Litchfield, 54.98 for Goodburn, and Charlie Hopkins of Swansea, 55.57, is in third place in that green cap in lane 6. Litchfield, though, just starting to stretch out here. He's got a body length lead on his teammate, and that's only getting bigger. Loughborough already 3 medals in the championship, 1 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze. Bath with 1 gold and 1 silver, currently in second spot, but expect the likes of Stirling, Sheffield, Hallam and Bath to really pile the pressure on Loughborough at these championships, but no one's putting any pressure on Joe Litchfield. Goodness me, what a swim this is in the opening heat. He's going to set that benchmark time that they're all going to have to qualify inside. And Joe Litchfield, 151.23. What a time to open proceedings. 121.23, the fastest time. Archie Goodburn in second place. It was third in the end for Sam Budd, who managed to get past both Charlie Hopkins and Josh Loney. So Litchfield 1, Goodburn 2, Budd 3 in the opening heat. Heat number 2 then. Jay Snowden, Cardiff Met goes in 1. Piers Bowden, BUCS New University, Jay Snowden in 0. Piers Bowden in 1. Liam Snook in 2. Scott Godby 3. Charlie Poole 4. Harry Aziz Hendrick in 5. Jacques Boncel in 6. Tom Thorpe 7. Max Jelfs 8. And Bradley Veach goes in 9. It is Jacques Boncel of Cambridge. Quickest through 50 metres, 26.45 for him. Scott Godby, Edinburgh, 26.72 in second place. So a rarity here. The Gold Lane swimmers not towards the front, particularly that man Harry Aziz Hendrick of UWE. He's currently the back marker, turned in 10th place in 29.66. So in lane 6, Jacques Boncel, quickest at the halfway point as well, 55.24. Decent time this. 55.66 for Scott Godby. So they're battling with each other across those middle lanes. Chasing down Archie Goodburn, the early pace setter from heat number 1 in the quest to book a final place. Now Charlie Poole from Stirling in lane 4, starting to look strong, but might just run out of Poole here because they turn with 50 metres to go. And it is still Boncel from Scott Godby. But great work off the wall from Godby, and he could well stroke his way into the lead as we approach the final 25 metres. Coming along nicely in lane 2, Liam Snook of Birmingham as well. But Boncel still arm's length ahead. He's going to take this, but it's going to be close. Boncel is going to take heat number 2 in a time of 154.11 for Boncel. So second quickest time. 154.11. Good couple of seconds slower than Goodburn, but should be good enough to get in a decent lane in the final. Boncel takes the second heat. Well, the final heat before we move on to the women's 50 backstroke, only to return to this men's 200 freestyle for the slower heats later on. Matt Sylvester of Salford goes in 0. Konstantinos Onufrio of Lancaster in 1. Martin McInnes, Strathclyde in 2. Lawrence Veerman Sterling in 3 in lane 4. To guest swimmer, Harry Constantine. It is Constantine who turns first, 25.78. Luke Turley of Bath, medalist yesterday, goes in 5. Audi Husana of Edinburgh goes in 6. From Manchester Met, Elliot Pickford in 7. Ben Fitzhugh of Notts Trent goes in 8. And Sean Watson, East Anglia, goes in 9. Well, Turley, not just a medalist yesterday, a gold medalist in the 1500, swam a great race. Beat his teammate Will Riley of Bath to the silver medal. And then Asterios Daldogiannis of Loughborough picked up bronze in that one. But Harry Constantine, the man to catch at the moment. Veerman's in lane 3 from Sterling in the white cap, trying to reel him in as we approach the final 50 metres. Might just manage it as well. Luke Turley holding on to 3rd. And there has been a change of lead at that final split. Brilliant work off the wall from Constantine, puts him back into the lead. So Constantine, great last 50 from him. Needed a great turn off the wall, that's exactly what he got. 151 is what they're trying to beat. This could be the quickest time. This is the quickest time. Constantine, the only man to go under 151. But look at all those times in the middle. Constantine sets the pace then. 150.88 will be the fastest time. That'll get him a middle lane going into the final. Veermans and Turley will join him. And we move on to the women's 50 backstroke. Cast our attention to the other end of the pool then. Single lap of backstroke. Louisa Zolkiewski of Oxford in lane 0. Sophie Hart, Manchester Met in 1. Olivia Neal, East Anglia in 2. Courtney Price, Notts Trent in 3. Cassie Wilde, Sterling in 4. Lotta Apane, Sterling in 5. Emma Scobie, Strathclyde in 6. Imogen Hunt, Cardiff Met in 7. Charlotte Taylor of Warwick in 8. Onyi Obel of Newcastle in lane 9. This is the first of the 3 seeded heats then. The chance to qualify for the final. Away first time. First out of the water in lane 1 was Sophia Hart, but it's close across the middle. We've got Wild in 4, Apane in 5. And Wild in 4, just getting herself a shoulder length ahead and starting to pull away. Going well in lane 3, Courtney Price of Notts Trent. Looking to the naked eye at least as if she's in second place, but it will be Cassie Wild Sterling setting the quickest time, 28.46. Price in second, Upane in third. But remember that time for Cassie Wild, 28.46. That will be the fastest going into the next heat. I would imagine that will be quick enough to get her a good lane in the final. But Wild takes heat number 1.
Heat number 8.
Swimmers in the pool for the next heat. Beth Blakelock, Cardiff Met in 0, Katie Latham Kent in 1, Georgia Grattan, Exeter 2, from Loughborough Emily Crane in 3, Lucy Hope Edinburgh in 4, Jess Shaw Birmingham in 5, Megan Maybank Sheffield Hallam in 6, Dora Zhu Queen Mary in 7, Katie Henderson York in 8, and in lane 9 Rebecca Cummings of Winchester, and a really good start in lane 3 from Emily Crane of Loughborough. Jessica Shaw Birmingham starts to come through now in that orange cap in lane 5, and she's powered through. Speaking of powering through, Lucy Hope of Edinburgh looking to get a top 3 spot, maybe even a top 2 spot, but it is Jess Shaw in lane 5, 28.84. So a little slower than Cassie Wilde, but still under that 29 seconds. Jessica Shaw, really quick second, 25 metres, and she takes the second heat. So this is heat number 9, but the third of the seeded heats. So we've got 6 heats to come later on in the session. And Pavan Marwaha of Southampton's in 0, Hannah Seymour in 1, Elise Headley 2, Tegan Drew in 3, Kathleen Dawson in 4, Molly Allen 5, Jasmine Eiley 6, Maya Semyonova Hoyler in 7, Rebecca Williams in 8, and Holly Williams in 9. Kathleen Dawson, the guest swimmer in the blue cap, has got off to a great start. She is a body length ahead of everybody else. There are 3 or 4 in contention for second place, but in lane 4, it is Dawson. What is the time? Oh, 28.30. So that is the fastest time in the fastest heat. And it is Dawson qualifying first, Wilde in second, and Shaw in third. So a time in the 28s from each of the 3 seeded heats. And they'll be battling it out for the medals with 7 other swimmers later on today. And we still have 6 heats of the women's 50 to come. Before that, we move on to heat number 7, or the first seeded heat of the men's 50 backstroke. James Cook in 0, Rory Huggins 1, Julian Marabotto in 2, Jamie Robertson in 3, Dan Cross 4, Scott Gibson 5, Sam Peace in 6, Tom Gambold 7, Robert Pearson 8, Brendan Johnson in 9. First out of the water then, James Cook of Southampton in lane 0. That extra time underwater has certainly given advantage to those swimmers in the middle lanes. Look how close it is between Scott Gibson, Dan Cross, and then in lane 3, Jamie Robertson and Sam Peace in 6. It's looking like Scott Gibson's going to hold on. It's going to be incredibly tight, though. Gibson does take it. Cross in second. 0.22 of a second between them. Both well under 27. So Cross second, but Gibson first, 26.58 qualification time. On to the next heat then, heat 8 of the men's 50 backstroke. The second seeded heat. And quite a bit of sprint swimming to come after this. We then move on to the 50-metre breaststroke and the 100 fly, and 400 individual medley, and 800 freestyle. All the seeded heats before we move back into the minor heats.
He's second in lane 0, Zach Gibson in lane 1, Kieran Russell, 2,
So Liam White and Martin Wilton in lanes 4 and 5 going along well. In lane 3, Luke Greenbank of Loughborough managing to keep within a shoulder's length of the leaders. This is all going to be on the reach. Liam White from Swansea, and in lane 5, Martin Wilton from Stirling. Goodness me, that's close. 26.03 and 26.09. Wowee, Liam White so close to breaking that 26-second barrier. Can see that happening in the final, but none of them could take any chances. Flat out swimming in that heat, and that's as close as it's been. Luke Greenbank 26.30. That is the third quickest qualification time, going quicker than both Dan Cross and Scott Gibson in the previous heat. And the swimmers are in the water for heat number 9, or the third seeded heat, where we have Alex Lazard of Cambridge in 0, Anthony Woodrow, Sheffield Hallam in 1, Martin Cartow, Glasgow in 2, Craig McAnally in 3, Thomas Howdle 4, Nick Pyle in 5, in 6 it's Joe Small, Matt Gray in 7, Jacob Carrington in 8, and Jordan McDonald in lane 9. Nick Pyle has absolutely flown out, and he's got half a body length lead over Thomas Howdle in lane 4. Outside him in lane 6, Joe Small keeping himself in contention, but this will be the most comprehensive win of these 50-metre backstrokes, and it is under 26 seconds as well. Nick Pyle, the guest swimmer, 25.68, sets the precedent going into the final. 25.68. Dead heat between Howdle and McAnally as well. 26.27. Couldn't split them in hundredths. And Joe Small setting a good time as well.
Immediately, if you can make your way to the exciting suites. Next up, it's event 205, the women's open 50-metre breaststroke heat number 8.
On to the breaststroke then. Claire Collins in 0, Amy Jessie Young in 1, Shannon Campbell in 2, and they get away. Victoria Russell 3, Cara Hanlon 4, Rachel Taylor 5, Agata Malikova in 6, Alicia Pollard 7, Eleanor Bird 8, Eva Vickery 9. Again, this is the first of 3 seeded heats. Heat number 8, and it is lane 4. Cara Hanlon of Edinburgh, the pace setter, looking to set the quickest time early on. Rachel Taylor, Newcastle outside her, and then in lane 2, Shannon Campbell of Birmingham. But coming through in 32.01, Cara Hanlon goes quickest. Rachel Taylor in second place, and then in third, in lane 2 there, Shannon Campbell, 33.75 to end heat number 8. Away we go then in heat number 9. Yeo in 0, Smith 1, Butler 2, Fletcher 3, Morrison 4, Penny 5, Spinner 6, McDonald 7, Engels 8, Stringer 9. And it is Megan Morrison of Loughborough in lane 4, and outside her Morgan Penny of Surrey in lane 5, leading into the final 10 metres, 32.01, the fastest time we've had in the 50 breaststroke so far. Morrison, is she going to be quicker than that? Don't think she is. 32.63 is the time, so more than half a second slower than Cara Hanlon, but still the quickest time in the heat. And Megan Morrison takes the second seeded heat, heat number 9. ahead of Morgan Penny and Kira Fletcher. Meeks in 0, Gogu in 1, Hawkins 2, Smith 3, Mats 4, Kitching 5, Van Dongen 6, Moores 7, Langton 8, and Naomi Vides in number 9, 32.01. Still the quickest time, and Carmela Kitching of Loughborough shoulder to shoulder with Katie Mats of Manchester Met. This a very close race indeed. Mats coming through strongly though. That changing with every stroke. And it is Katie Mats who takes it. 32.74. So that fastest time in heat number 1, 32.01, will have the middle lane come the final. But Katie Mats wins the final heat from Carmela Kitchen. Jasmine Smith in lane 3 takes 3rd place. Men's 50 breaststroke underway then. First to pop his head out there, Nicholas Quinn of Edinburgh in lane 3. Best start from David Murphy, the guest swimmer, silver cap in lane 4. And he leads that shallow arrowhead at the moment. This will be the opening time that they'll all have to chase down to qualify. The top 10 making their way through to the final. What's the time then? 28.21. Very, very quick swimming indeed. 27.54 is the record set by James Wilby in 2018. So Murphy, then Quinn, then Shipman, all under 30 seconds. And we move on to the next heat. Speed in 0, Friedman 1, Young 2, Lim 3, Murdoch 4, Hopkins 5, Goldrick 6, King 7, Rayner 8, Howarth in lane 9. And it's Murdoch in lane 4 leading from the man in lane 5, George Hopkins. Daniel Lim in lane 3. Good swim in lane 7 as well from James King, but they're not going to come anywhere near Ross Murdoch. 27.71 for Murdoch. Tell you what, with heat times like that, 27.54 might be in a bit of trouble later. They're over pretty quickly. But Murdoch, 27.71. Just remember that for the final later on. So the last heat of the men's fly before we move on to 2 heats in the women's IM. Conway in 0, Williams 1, Zavalis 2, Crosby 3, Benson 4, Goodburn 5, Waters 6, Pemberton 7, Takimoto 8, Ryan in 9. And it is Benson of Stirling leading at the halfway point and being chased down by Goodburn to his right and Crosby to his left. But again, lane 4's the golden one in this men's 50 breaststroke. 28.35 is the fastest time in that heat. 29.02 for Goodburn, so well outside the time set in the previous heat. But those guys in the middle should find themselves in the final later on once all the maths is done. And that is all for 50-metre splash and dash for now. We move on to the women's 100 butterfly. Just a short delay before we get underway with the next race, so we'd just like to take this opportunity to give our thanks to our official partner Speedo, title sponsors of the Speedo BUCS swimming series. We had a brilliant event here before Christmas with the Speedo BUCS short course championships. Great to be back here for the Speedo BUCS long course championships at legendary Ponds Forge. I think anyone who's been involved with swimming at any level in the UK has been here for a great event at some point. But now the swimmers are on the blocks and we're ready to get underway with the women's 100 butterfly. 3 seeded heats. Sophie Lawrence of Oxford in 0, Megan Richards of York in 1, Jessica Jane Applegate, guest swimmer, S14 para swimmer in 2, Hannah Denny of Bath in 3, Tane Bruce Edinburgh in 4, Lucy Thornton King's College in 5, Millie Scotchbrook Nottingham in 6, Rika Nagel-Claven East Anglia in 7, Ellie O'Keefe Cambridge in 8, Lauren Hodgson of Sheffield in lane 9. 100 butterfly, really savage event. You need to be a serious swimmer to be able to do this in any kind of time whatsoever. Tane Bruce Edinburgh turns in first place and extends that lead with 20 metres to go. 28.66 was the time at the turn. And Tane Bruce is going to take this, I'm not going to say at a canter, but as you can see there, pretty healthy lead for Tane Bruce. 1 minute 0.67 takes it. Charlotte Atkinson of Loughborough, the record holder, 58.18. No one inside that magic minute in the opening heat, but Tane Bruce pretty close. That was heat number 4. Next up, heat number 5. And we're underway. Hannah Dawson in 0, Kira Walsh 1, Holly Williams 2, Jess Calderbank in 3, Harriet West in 4, Yasmin Perry in 5, Izzy Spinley in 6, Zoe McDonald 7, Jennifer Herbert in 8, and Leah Williams in 9. So Harriet West with an entry time of 58.88 would be a big PB to get that record. We do have Maria Wattle with an entry time of 57 going next. So could we see our first BUCS record of the day tumbling in the women's 100 butterfly? This a lovely swim from Harriet West. It was Calderbank who turned first, but West has powered through in the blue cap in lane 4. Could this be under a minute? We've not had a time under a minute yet. Oh, not quite. Oh, it is 59.89. Harriet West sets the new benchmark. She will be the number 1 seed going into the next heat. West from Perry, from Calderbank. That's your 1, 2, 3. 1 heat to come. Kate Allenby in 0, Samantha Flack in 1, Georgina Talon in 2, Kate Mills in 3, Maria Wattle in 4, Kiana McInnes in 5, Ekaterina Price in 6, Ruth McEwen in 7, Mel Hall in 8, Alyssa Grattan in lane 9. This, the final heat of the women's 100 butterfly before we move on to the men's competition. And in lane 4, Maria Wattle, already 1 gold medal in these championships. In the mixed relay yesterday, she stormed to multiple golds in the short course, and we're expecting similar results in the long course as well. She is the 50-metre butterfly BUCS record holder. Her Loughborough teammate Charlotte Atkinson holds the record in the 100 butterfly. It's 58.18. And if she doesn't break it here, I think she'll certainly have an eye on it in the final later on. So Wattle takes that third heat just over the minute mark. Mills in second place, McInnes in third. So a slower swim than we're used to for McInnes. She's got an entry time of under a minute. Maybe saving their best for the final later on, but we will see all of those big BUCS names in the final later on today, as that completes the women's 100 butterfly. Once again, I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Speedo. Just like that, thanks once again to Speedo for their continued partnership and support of BUCS swimming events. And just like that, we're back underway. Jacob Ward goes in lane 9. In 8, Andrew Rain. In 7, Theo Cannon. Lewis Hodgetts in 6. James Baxter in 5. Edward Rednick in 4. Mark Elric in 3. In lane 2, Ollie Crosby. Jonah Walsh in 1. And Harry Whiteman in lane 0. Same format as we've been dealing with all day. 3 seeded heats for a place in the final before we return to the slower heats later on in the session. Following these 3 heats, we actually have heat declared winners, so we're going to be getting some gold medals in this morning session. Edward Rednick of Stirling, the pace setter here. Can see the power coming out of the water from all these swimmers. James Baxter and Mark Elric are going to be close, but it will be the swimmer in lane 4, Edward Rednick of Stirling. Stirling taking heat number 1, 56.27.
Heat number 8.
Heat number 8, well, the second seeded heat. Jake Fabi, Cardiff Met, goes in 0. Harry Jones, East Anglia, in 1. James Watson of Kiel in 2. Michael Hewitt of Edinburgh in 3. Scott McClay, Stirling, in 4. James Brown, Loughborough, in 5. Sam Goldrick of Kiel in 6. William Graham of York in 7. Aidan Sparling of Derby in 8. And an empty lane in lane 9. Scott McClay, Stirling, in the white cap. Sparkling opening 50 for him, turns in 25.52 ahead of Loughborough's James Brown and Michael Hewitt of Edinburgh. James Watson of Kiel in lane 2 turns in 4th place. Incidentally, the record 52.77 in the men's 100-metre butterfly. Again, not going to be in danger in the heats, I don't think, but perhaps a little bit later. But Scott McClay, he's being closed down towards the end of the heat, but still takes top spot, 55.48 for first place. He's the only one under 56 seconds. Brown, 56.05 in second. Hewitt, third. Watson, fourth. It'll be an anxious wait for those in third, fourth and fifth to see if they've gone quick enough to get a finals berth later on. In we go. Stephen Clegg goes in 0. S12 swimmer, a guest at these championships. Julian Marabotto of Surrey in 1. Ross Leslie, Edinburgh in 2. Leon Birchie, UCL in 3. Joe Litchfield, Loughborough in 4. Jamie Ingram, Manchester in 5. Gregor Swinney of Strathclyde in 6. From Newcastle, it's Dan Morley in 7. Neil Wiley, Manchester Met in 8. Matthew Titzman of Birmingham goes in lane 9. And again, it's the man in lane 4, Joe Litchfield. A full body length ahead of everybody at the turn, and with 25 metres to go, he had a little look right there to see where Jamie Ingram was, and the answer is not close enough to mount a challenge. So Joe Litchfield, entry time of 52.60. If he swims that in the final, he'll be a BUCS record holder. As it stands, he's just going to settle for the fastest qualifier. Litchfield goes 54.6, the only qualifier under 55 seconds. So he will have a middle lane in the final later on. Some really good times. They're just Julian Marabotto over the minute. Everyone else comfortably underneath. Great standard of swimming here in the men's 100 metre butterfly. Next up, heat number 1 of the women's 400 individual medley. So this will be our first gold medal of the day. We've got 2 heats in the women's 400 individual medley, and we have a heat declared winner. So the fastest 3 times across the 2 heats will win BUCS gold, BUCS silver and BUCS bronze. So essentially this heat number 1, the less fancied swimmers, but you swim a PB, you swim a great time trial, and you could be on the podium later on today. Tilda Harper, UWE, is in 1. Both the outside lanes are empty. Tegan Parker of Leeds in 2. From Royal Holloway, Hayley Briggs goes in lane 3. Millie Emmons of Surrey in 4. From Birmingham in lane 5, Lucy Hawley. Daisy Methan of Nottingham in 6. Claire Thompson of Glasgow in lane 7. Alice Jolly of Durham in lane 8. Fastest swimmers completing their butterfly opener, and it's Hawley from Birmingham setting the early pace in lane 5. Millie Emmons of Surrey in 2nd place. She turns in just under 1 minute and 10. Tilda Harper of UWE, a tough butterfly leg for her. She's about 25 metres behind the leaders, but you get your bad stroke out of the way. Good race to win for her. In lane 2, Tegan Parker of Leeds turned in 3rd, just edging herself into 2nd place now, hugging that lane rope to the left-hand side of lane 2. As Hawley turns once again in 1st place into the second half of her backstroke leg. But a very good backstroke here from Tegan Parker. And also in lane 8, Alice Jolly of Durham got herself into a rhythm. In the men's 400 individual medley, that's also heat declared winner. There are 3 heats in that one, so that'll be hotly contested. Still got 800 freestyles to come, and all of the heats from the previous races as well. Men's and women's 200 freestyle, 50 back, 50 breaststroke and 100 fly in this mammoth opening session. One of the longest days of swimming in any competition in the country. Real test for a lot of these athletes swimming in multiple events. As Lucy Hawley continues to lead. 35-40 metres into the breaststroke, the third of the 4 disciplines. And this race pretty much split in 2 now. We've got Claire Thompson in lane 7, then the 2 in the middle lanes, Hawley in 5, Emmons in 4, and in lane 2, Tegan Parker. I don't think she's given up on this one just yet. She really got herself back into the race in that backstroke leg. But when we get into the freestyle, those final 2 lengths of front crawl, anything can change. But Hawley has led from the very beginning. Wonder if there's a sting in the tail. Now these top 3 have managed to take it away from Claire Thompson during this breaststroke. She's left herself a lot of work to do into the freestyle, where it will be Lucy Hawley to turn first. What's her time looking like at the 300 metre split? 4:03.27. Oh, now Millie Emmons. Looks like she's going to put the hammer down and take this away from Hawley. She's already got herself up to parity and now sneaks past. Hawley's led it every split, but I think she's going to come off second best in this opening heat of the 400 individual medley. It will be Surrey's Millie Emmons who will set the time they'll all have to beat if they want to win the gold medal. So the only change will be at the top. 3rd and 4th place will be as they were. It'll be Tegan Parker in 3rd, and then Claire Thompson in 4th. Tilda Harper has managed to get past Alice Jolly, but let's get back to the front of the race where Millie Emmons has swum a stunning final 100 metres. She was in 2nd place for 300, but from the moment she kicked off the wall for the final 100 metres, there was only going to be one winner, and there she is, Millie Emmons, 5:12.08. You want to win a gold medal in Heat 2? You're going to need to go faster than that. 5:12.08 puts Millie Emmons provisionally in 1st. Lucy Hawley, 5:17.85 puts her in 2nd. And then Tegan Parker, 5:25.26 puts her in 3rd. So for the second heat to come, we do have some entry times much quicker than that, but if you don't go quicker, you're not getting a medal. Still swimmers coming in then. So in lane 3, here's Hayley Briggs of Royal Holloway. Stopping the clock. Tilda Harper next in lane 1. And then 25 metres to go for Alice Jolly of Durham. Difficult swim, the 400 IM. In this Olympic length pool, plenty of support for her in the arena. Plenty of flags around as well. Who can I see here already? We've got Kiel, Sheffield. Who's that there? Oh, I can't tell. Such are the trendy logos. Man Met are here, Newcastle are here, Durham are here. And that is Durham's Alice Jolly, who touches back. 6:35.30 to close heat number 1.
And there are those confirmed results. So next up, heat number 2.
Heat number 2, and the heats are seeded, so fully expecting to see the gold, silver and bronze medalist come from this heat. As it stands, Millie Emmons is in 1st place, Lucy Hawley is in 2nd, and Tegan Parker is in 3rd. Runners and riders in this heat: Eva Vickery in 0 from Coventry, Anna Marley, Loughborough in 1, Megan Byrne of Bath in lane 2 from Sheffield Hallam, Sophie Barker in 3, Abby Wood of Loughborough in 4, Amber Keegan, Sheffield in 5, Meg Lever, Manchester Met in 6, from University of West of Scotland, Katie Mackenzie goes in 7, Leah Webb from Bath goes in 8, and Matea J. Oliver goes in lane 9. Was Loughborough's Abby Wood turning in first ahead of Sheffield's Keegan, and Anna Marley of Loughborough in lane 1 turned in 3rd place, but I think she's just about been reeled in by Sophie Barker in lane 3 as we get to the first change of stroke. Abby Wood is the 200 individual medley record holder for BUCS. She set that in 2018. The record for the 400 individual medley is held by Amy Wilmot. It's 4:36.21. And it's been in place since 2016. Could that be under some scrutiny today? She's got about a body length's lead over Amber Keegan. Keegan, the 1500 champion yesterday. Proper dark horse of a swimmer as well, especially in the freestyle. She's got quite a fast cadence, can look like she's using a lot of energy, but she keeps a lot of gas in the tank, and that is something that Abby Wood will be aware of. It was her teammate M. Clark who fell foul to Keegan yesterday, who was in a similar position to this, was shoulder to shoulder, but then just found some energy in the last couple of 100 metres of the 1500. Are we setting up for another blockbuster here? It is Wood from Keegan, and they've taken this away from the rest of the field. Anna Marley of Loughborough currently in 3rd place. It's a much quicker time than heat number 1, as we'd expect. So 1st, 2nd and 3rd from this heat should end up on the podium. Over there in lane 8, Leah Webb keeping herself in contention too, as is Sophie Barker Sheffield Hallam in lane 3. And in lane 7, Katie Mackenzie from UWS. Look at this breaststroke leg from Abby Wood though. They'll turn with 100 metres to go here, and she might just have swum Amber Keegan out of the race. Yeah, it's going to be a big lead, 3, 4, maybe even 5 seconds going into the last 100 metres. Now, keep your eye on the clock here. They turn at 3:37.94, the record 4:36.21. So she needs to go at 29 seconds a length, which she's more than capable of doing, but can she do it after 300 hard metres of butterfly backstroke and breaststroke? That'll remain to be seen. Either way, Abby Wood in full control, and she is on course for her first individual gold of these championships. Amber Keegan is going to take silver, a second individual medal for her, and it's a 7-second lead. Well, this last 25 metres is a victory dance for Abby Wood. She's going to be outside the BUCS record time, but it is going to be an individual gold for Abby Wood. Amber Keegan just about coming into the shot now. Fantastic swim. 4:44.52 for Abby Wood. Her first individual gold of the championship. Loughborough's 4th medal. It's a 2nd medal for Amber Keegan. Gold yesterday and silver today. Now the race is on for bronze. Anna Marley and Sophie Barker both coming through. It's going to be on the stretch, and Anna Marley just gets there. 0.32 of a second, 0.22 of a second. So gold for Loughborough, silver for Sheffield, bronze for Loughborough, and they maintain their place at the top of the medal table. Fabulous performance though from Abby Wood. She takes gold in the women's 400 individual medley.
Next up, it's event 210, men's open 400 metre individual medley, heat number 1.
Not a lot of time to breathe in between events. 3 heats in the men's individual medley. And again, it'll be a heat declared winner. So seeded heats. A couple of empty lanes in this one. No one in 0 and 1, no one in 9. Andrew McIntosh of Edinburgh goes in 2. Marcus Birmingham from Birmingham in 2. Dominic Keast of Kiel in 4. Gilchrist Northumbria in 5. Ben Tritton Surrey in 6. Fernando Garcia Southampton in 7. Killian Courtney of Liverpool in lane 8. Tritton of Surrey, the early pace setter, and McIntosh of Edinburgh. Good start from him in the butterfly. What a way to start a medley. Hard graft for these swimmers. And McIntosh just about to turn in second place. Very, very close between him and Ben Tritton then. Birmingham in 3rd, Garcia in 4th, Keast in 5th place. Courtney in 6th. Now into the backstroke. McIntosh edges ahead. As I said, 3 heats in this one. Unlikely we'll get a medalist from this heat, but all you can do is get in and swim to the best of your ability. Stranger things have happened. Following this 400 individual medley, we move on to the men's and women's 800 freestyle. Again, heat declared winners. So there'll be more medals in this morning session. Little update on the medal table, or the unofficial one at least. The tally chart on my book, should I say. Loughborough currently top of the tree with 2 golds, 1 silver and 2 bronze. Bath and Sheffield both with a gold and silver apiece. Then Edinburgh with 1 silver and Stirling with 1 bronze. Also Strathclyde have picked up a bronze as well. There we go. That is the update after one session on the Friday evening and the morning here, but the medals will come thick and fast, particularly this evening. And we're here tomorrow as well. Thank you for joining us wherever you're watching around the world. This is day 2 of the Speedo BUCS Swim Series Long Course Championships at Ponds Forge in Sheffield. Still a few tickets available as well, so if you're in the area, pop down, say hello. Be great to have you here. Ben Tritton turns in 1st place, the Surrey man, 258.87 at the split, ahead of Andrew McIntosh of Edinburgh in lane 2. Dominic Keast from Kiel in lane 4 and Killian Courtney, Liverpool in lane 8, really working hard to try and get back on parity. Important to recognise in these BUCS Championships that we do have elite swimmers. European level, world level, Olympians, Paralympians, all at these championships, but it's university sport. So for some people, coming here, representing a university, setting a personal best, getting some valuable BUCS points for your institution, that's the victory. That's the beautiful thing about BUCS sport. Plenty going on around Sheffield as well as we go into the last 100 metres. In this venue alone, we've got BUCS fencing happening. Over at Ice Sheffield, we've got judo and karate. We've got the BUCS indoors as well, the indoor athletics. That's being live streamed. That's a great event. So maybe you can have one on the tablet and one on the laptop and keep on watching great quality university sport. Ben Tritton of Surrey turns into his final 50 metres. Andrew McIntosh in 2nd place, then Ben Gilchrist is on the turn as well. Good final freestyle length from Fernando Garcia. We've got Killian Courtney from Liverpool just turning into his last 100 metres. Bit of a baptism of fire for him at this level. But Ben Tritton of Surrey is going to take it. He is going to set the time that provisionally puts him in the gold medal position. And that time is 4:44.54. Well, that is a massive improvement on his entry time. 4:54.54 for Ben Tritton. His entry time, 4:59.78. What a time from him. Well, I'm waiting for that to be corrected. But provisionally, 4:54.44 for Tritton. .44.54. His entry time, 4:59.78. Well, that is what these championships are all about. Come in here, knocking chunks out of your personal best and giving yourself a good chance. Very impressive swim. Still got Killian Courtney from Liverpool coming through to complete his swim. Is he going to get there in just under 6 minutes? Come on, Killian, lad. Yes, top man. 5:56.62 for Killian Courtney. And that completes heat number 1, where Ben Tritton is provisionally in the gold medal position going into heat 2.
Next up, it's heat number 2. So heat number 2 then, event 210, event open 400 metre individual medley. Let's introduce the swimmers then in lane 9 from Newcastle, we have Samuel Naylor, in lane 8 Sheffield, Finley Ryan, in lane 7 Aaron Bruce from Nottingham 6.
Heat number 2, Matthew Jones in 0. From Nottingham Trent, from Sheffield Hallam, we've got David Broadbent in lane 1. Lane 2's empty. Harry Whiteman, Manchester Met in 3. Edinburgh Napier's Fraser Allison goes in 4. From Bath, it's Miles Drabwell in lane 5. Bailey Hairside of Manchester in 6. Aaron Priest, Nottingham in 7. Finley Ryan of Sheffield Hallam in 8. And Samuel Naylor of Newcastle in lane 9. Broadbent goes through the first 100 metres quickest, but this race a lot tighter than heat number 1, and already Miles Drabwell of Bath getting himself a little lead into the backstroke leg. There he is in the middle lane. Blue cap just increasing that lead with every stroke. Over on the far side, Samuel Naylor of Newcastle, there or thereabouts. He turned in 5th. I think he'll be a bit further up the field when we get the next split. It is Drabwell from Allison, from Aaron Priest in lane 7. Same format always in this 400 individual medley. Butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, front core. A good lead now for Drabwell. Turns in first place, and he's got 2.63 seconds over Allison. Another second and a bit behind is Priest. And then Naylor, Hairside, Whiteman, Ryan, Jones and Broadbent 10 seconds behind. But we could have a change here. I don't think it's as cut and dry as Drabwell just taking it home, because Fraser Allison Swimming a strong breaststroke here, and these two edging ahead of Aaron Priest in lane 7 in that green swim cap of Nottingham. And then in lane 9, Samuel Naylor. I think we're going to have a straight shootout come the front crawl. How good is Allison going to be off the wall here? Oh, very good is the answer. Comes out nearly level with Miles Drabwell. Great kick from the Edinburgh Napier man. And Aaron Priest has got himself into outright third place over there in lane 7. Nice race within a race between Finlay Ryan and Samuel Naylor over on the far side, lane 8 and lane 9. In lane 0, Matthew Jones is doing his best to lose David Broadbent, and in lane 3, Harry Whiteman pretty much having to swim his own race because of those two way out in front of him, Allison and Drabwell. And it is Fraser Allison who turns for the final 100 metres in first place. Now, watch Aaron Priest in lane 7 because he fancies reeling in Miles Drabwell here. Fraser Allison is going to try and take it away from the Bath man. 4:44.54 is that lead time, the time currently in the gold medal position. Ben Tritton. And this could well and should well be quicker than that. It is Fraser Allison at the turn from Edinburgh Napier. Well, he's turned around about 4 seconds over Miles Drabwell. There we go, Aaron Priest. I think he's just going to run out of pool here. I don't think he's going to reel Drabwell in, but Fraser Allison's going to take it. Now, watch the clock. 4:44.54 is the time to beat, and Fraser Allison puts himself into provisional gold medal position. In fact, all 3 of the top 3 do exactly that, and 4:38.78 from Fraser Allison is the new lead time. We will expect that to be beaten in the next heat, but take nothing away from that swim. Fraser Allison moves into top spot with 1 race to come.
So those are the confirmed results, and we do have a disqualification to bring you from that heat in lane 0. So next up, heat number 3.
Final heat, expecting all 3 medals to come from this heat, particularly with some of the entry times. Max Litchfield is the man to beat. He goes in lane number 4. So James Bilbao from Manchester Met goes in 0. Michael Rees Nottingham in 1. Johnny Milner of Manchester in 2. Duncan Scott from Stirling in 3. Max Litchfield 4. Jacob Greeno of Bath in 5. Callum Laurie of Stirling in 6. Nathan Wells of Loughborough in 7, Ben Harrison Loughborough in 8, and William Slawson of Birmingham goes in lane 9. No surprise to see Duncan Scott out there in front. He's got an entry time of 4:20.39, but I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. I think Max Litchfield, the BUCS record holder, 4:17.44. I think that could be in a spot of bother today. He goes in lane 4, Duncan Scott in lane 3, and I think that is going to be the race. I think everyone else is battling for the bronze medal. At the moment, it's Jacob Greeno from Bath who is in that bronze medal position, as Scott miles out in front, almost a full body length as we approach the 150 metre mark. Now, what's the clock saying there? 1:30.41. So he's going at 30 seconds per 50 metres at the moment. Expect that to slow down slightly as we go into the breaststroke. This is where Litchfield starts to get a bit stronger as well. He's making up distance with every stroke, and they're going to be on near parity as we go to the halfway point. And Greeno of Bath swimming very well indeed. It is still Scott, but only just. Now Litchfield starting to turn the screw, as is Greeno. That is the 1, 2, 3, but what order will it be in? So Litchfield set this record in 2017 when he was a Sheffield Hallam swimmer. He's here as a guest at these championships. Could he make further improvements on his own best at this level? He turns in first place for the first time. It's now Litchfield from Scott, from Greeno. And Greeno's got himself on parity as well. And in fact, as he just edged in front of Duncan Scott here, if not now, then certainly going into the freestyle leg. Well, we're talking about world-class swimmers. We've got a man who's got a bronze medal at the World Championships. He might not be able to pick up a gold at the British universities here. It's Jacob Greeno. Great breaststroke from him, and he is going to turn in first place. Going into the final 100 metres, it is neck and neck between Greeno, Litchfield and Scott. Less than a second between them as we go into the freestyle. Now, who can put the hammer down and keep the hammer down and take home golden glory? This is the race of the championships so far. A heat declared winner, but this is a straight shootout for gold, silver and bronze. Closest to us is Scott, then Litchfield, then Greeno. What are they saying at the turn here? All tumble turn at the same time. It's Litchfield who's the first off the wall, followed by Scott, followed by Greeno. There was a second between them. Into the last 100 metres, there's just 0.39 now. Scott just edging ahead of the record holder, Max Litchfield. 4:17.44 is the record. Not sure it's going to be in trouble here, but it's going to be close, but it's going to be Scott. He has battled to victory here. Duncan Scott beats Litchfield. It's Greeno in third place, but that's the race of the championship so far, and Duncan Scott picks up his first individual gold of these championships in the race of the championships. 4:20.69 is the winning time. What a fantastic race. Duncan Scott picks up Sterling's first gold of these long course championships. And we'll just about get our breath back now before we go into the women's 800 individual medley. But confirmation then, Scott gold, Litchfield silver, Greeno bronze.
They do have a disqualification to bring in lane number 1, and it's for Michael Rees. Next up, event 211, women's open 800 metre freestyle, heat number 1. So only the 3 swimmers in heat number 1. This is the next swimming event on the women's open 800 metre freestyle.
Women's 800 freestyle. 2 heats, again a heat declared winner, but in the previous race we saw how exciting they can be. Duncan Scott picking up Sterling's first gold. The Three swimmers here. Heather Barnes from Glasgow. She's in lane 3. Current leader Georgina Walker of Derby. She goes in lane 4. And then in lane 5, Katrina Louise Miller of Glasgow. Two heats in this event, also 2 heats in the men's event.
So BUCS are delighted to partner up with our headline sponsor for the weekend, which is Speedo. And you can win over the course of this weekend some fast skin goggles. Speedo are giving away just that for the 5 people with the best swim squad photo. And the green glow selfie backdrop, which is just located on the balcony as you enter into the pool.
Apologies for the radio silence. We pick things back up 3.5 minutes into heat number 1 of the women's 800 freestyle. Out there on her own in lane 4 is Georgina Walker of Derby. Her entry time 9:32.03. So can we get her a big personal best? And Heather Barnes and Katrina Miller, can we get them inside 10 minutes? 10:13.40 and 10:15 dead are their entry times. Moving into the second heat, we've got M. Clark going in there from Loughborough. She picked up the silver medal in yesterday's 1500. Their nemesis Keegan is not going in the race. She went a little bit earlier in the 200s. And then we've got 2 heats in the men's 800 freestyle as well. So while they're going through these middle laps, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank some of the partners for this event. Student Roost, student accommodation, fantastic facilities to help you boost your performance. Camp America as well, summer and an epic road trip. I had the chance to catch up with them earlier. They are just the most relentlessly positive people. And again, if I spent every summer in America, I'd probably be relentlessly positive as well. So thank you to Camp America for their support in the Speedo BUCS swimming series. Thanks to Outgoing. Thanks for the continued partnership with BUCS. And of course, Speedo, headline partners for the Speedo BUCS swimming series. In fact, in the venue, Speedo have been giving out some, I'm not sure what colour I'd describe them as, like fluorescent green, fluoro green, like highlighter green beanie hats, which when you're outside are very, very helpful indeed. But when you're inside here at Ponds Forge, they're the last thing you want. It is absolutely melting here today. So you've got myself, Dave Rogers, on commentary. The live commentator in the venue is Brad Hope. We are very much dressed in our PE kits today. Shorts, t-shirts and trainers. Just over 6 minutes on the clock now. 6 lengths to go here for your leader, Georgina Walker. Her lead about 30 metres over Heather Barnes and Katrina Louise Miller, both the Glasgow students. Oh, James from BUCS has just said he'll make me a cup of tea. Honestly, just I thought this day couldn't get any better. So a rundown of what is still to come. If you've been watching all day, you'll have seen seeded heats in the men's and women's 200 freestyle, 50 back, 50 breast, 100 fly. You'll have also seen medals won in the women's and men's 400 individual medley. We have more heats to come in the 800 freestyle. There'll be medals awarded in those as well. The medal ceremonies are late this evening. But following the 800, we go back to the heats. So no medals on offer, but your opportunity to see some great university level swimmers. We might have a flyer who manages to get themselves into the finals, but wouldn't necessarily bank on it. It's all about student development, swimmer development, coming here to a national championships, putting in a good performance, maybe getting a personal best. So final 200 metres then for Walker, 7:27.08. Just a reminder, her entry time 9:32.03. So if she goes at 30.5 seconds per 50 for her last 4 lengths, then she could well come in with a PB. That's what we hope for all the swimmers here. Come here to a nationals, continued improvement at a high level. 8:05.24 at the 6:50 split. Always interesting to talk to swimmers to see if it's like this and you kind of swim in your own race, you've not got a lot of swimmers around you. Does that improve your performance and allow you to stick to your game plan, or does it make it difficult because you don't get that racer's instinct? She'll hear the whistle this time. 100 metres to go in heat number 1. Georgina Walker is going to take it, but what's the time going to be? I think she's going to be just outside that entry time. She's only given herself 49 seconds for the last 100 metres. Heather Barnes of Glasgow is going to take second unless Katrina Miller can put on the afterburners for the final 200 metres. Now, can these two get inside their personal best? I think all three are going to be just outside in this heat number 1. So Georgina Walker, 30 metres to go. The Derby swimmer is going to win her heat number 1. And she is going to give herself at least the chance of winning the gold medal. I don't think it's going to be quick enough, but she will be in first place after heat number 1. And if anyone wants to win the gold, they're going to have to swim faster than her time, which is just under 10 minutes. Well swum. 9:59.78 for Georgina Walker. And with a couple of swimmers with entry times in the 8:40s, I think it might be a big ask to get that one on the podium, but a good swim nonetheless. Come here to a nationals and swim in under 10 minutes. It'll be Heather Barnes of Glasgow in second place and her teammate Katrina Louise Miller in third. Walker first, Barnes second, Miller third, and that completes heat 1.
Now move on to heat 2. swimmers in heat number 2.
9 swimmers in heat number 2. Lane 9 is the empty one. Expecting all 3 medalists to come from this pool in this heat and from the middle lanes. So Daisy Hill, East Anglia, goes in lane 0. Marion Honke of Loughborough in 1. Katie Taylor Strathclyde in 2. From Edinburgh, it's Sophie Smith in 3. Michaela Glenister, guest swimmer, in lane 4, and she's got off to a very quick start indeed. M. Clark of Loughborough, silver medalist in yesterday's 1500, goes in 5. Phillida Britton, UCL, goes in 6. Meg Lever, Manchester Met, turns in 7th place and is in lane 7. And Chantal Smith of Stirling goes in lane 8. The BUCS record, 8:36. Set by Amy Wilmot. In fact, I can go a little bit more accurate than that in the 800 freestyle. The record is, oh no, it is 8:36, bang on the money. Set by Amy Wilmot when she was swimming for East London in the ancient history that is 2016. Ha! So M. Clark in lane 5, turned in 2nd place. She had a battle with Keegan yesterday, but I don't think this is going to be a battle here today. Michaela Glenister, I know there's 12 lengths to go, but she is swimming her own race at the moment. And there's a race that has her 5 seconds ahead of everybody else.
Still out in front to line 16. There's his competitor M. Clark from Loughborough. The swimmers recording entry times under the minute mark. Sophie Smith, Mary Grace and M. Clark all doing so coming into this heat.
Well, the battle very much now for the silver medal, because barring a miracle, I think Glenister has the gold in the bag. So M. Clark lost a battle between gold and silver yesterday. She is going to have to win a battle to win silver today, because Phillida Britton of UCL, shoulder to shoulder. Good race start in lane 5 and lane 6. It's going to have to be a strong final 8 lengths from the likes of Sophie Smith and Katie Taylor if they're going to get on parity. We're at the halfway point of the race now, 4:22 on the clock. So this isn't record pace. Amy Wilmot's 8:36 should be pretty safe. Big kick off the wall there from Phillida Britton, you know, just to get herself a bit of an advantage over Glenister, who is very, very consistent, doesn't seem to pick up pace in the beginning, the middle, or the end. So if you've got a quick kick finish, you might back yourself against M. Clark, but she is going to try and grind you down in those middle lengths, and that's something that Britton is going to have to compete with. She is going to get herself on that 2nd spot of the podium. Michaela Glenister, though, fantastic swim from her thus far as the clock ticks towards 5:20. They'll have 6 lengths to go this time.
BUCS Sports are delighted to team up with the Institute of Leadership and Management this weekend here in Sheffield. Did you know,
So Glenister turns 6:04.47. And Philida Britton has given herself a healthy lead over Em Clark, who's going to get a second medal of the championships, but she's still chasing that elusive gold. Unless Sophie Smith can really find something in the final 200 metres. So Glenister in the green costume and the pink hat way out in front. And this field is starting to get strung out now. Still got some back marker athletes who've slipped, unfortunately, more than 50 metres behind our leader. Meg Lever, Manchester Met, Chantal Smith of Stirling. They're going to pass on the way back down as Glenister continues on the way back up. So Glenister with an entry time of 8:43.74. Don't think she's going to go quicker than that today, but hasn't really come under any scrutiny in this race at all. What's the lead here at the 6:50 split? 6.65 seconds. Britton of UCL is going to pick up UCL's first medal of these championships, believe it or not. And she'll hear the whistle this time, will Glenister?
that is the whistle for Glenister.
Britton turns in second place. And Em Clark turning in third. Well, Michaela Glenister really showing why she is one of the swimmers that Great Britain are backing as the future of the sport. Well, the final 20 metres of a superb swim for Michaela Glenister. She has been in charge of a class field here in the 800-metre freestyle, proving why Great Britain are backing her as the future of the sport. She's a medalist at the World Junior Championships. She's a national champion. Now she is a BUCS champion. 8:53.69. Philida Britton gets UCL's first medal of these championships. And it is another podium for Loughborough's Em Clark. She gets a bronze to add to yesterday's silver. But no doubt about the winner, Michaela Glenister, 8:53.69, a 6-second victor, and a gold for the guest swimmer here at the Speedo BUCS Swimming Series Long Course Championship. Swimmers still touching back. Daisy Hill stops the clock in 9:29.85, and then over in lanes 7 and 8, Meg Lever and Chantal Smith will be the final swimmers home. The confirmation once again, Glenister the champion. Philida Britton silver, Em Clark bronze. We move on to the men's 800.
There they are. So we now move on to event 212, men's open 800-metre freestyle, number 1.
Heat number 1 of the men's 800 freestyle then. 3 swimmers swimming for PBs. Again, a big ask for them to get into medal contention. Alex Croston-Robbins of Stirling in lane 3, the early pace setter. Luke Bryan of Sheffield Hallam in lane number 4. And then in lane 5 from Aberdeen, Angus Rutherford. First heat in the women's race, bit of a washout really. Georgina Walker of Derby, far and away the top swimmer. See if we can get a bit of a race on here. Entry times: Luke Bryan of Sheffield Hallam the quickest, 8:43, 8:46.11 for Rutherford of Aberdeen, and 8:54.09 from Croston-Robbins. So theoretically, we could have a good race here going into the last couple of 100 metres. 12 lengths to go. Those 3 referees down there all in white. I had a chat to one last night after the session finished, because we had the 1500s in yesterday's session. And I said, with the tumble turns, do you get absolutely drenched? And they said, yep. The worst is when you've got short course here at Sheffield and they put the jib across the middle, and sometimes you can get it from both sides. Unfortunately, they don't make the costumes waterproof. But if you ever come to a swimming event and you see one of those judges or the scorers or the timekeepers, make sure you give them a nod and say cheers, because they're all volunteers. We couldn't have events without them, and they do long, long days. Huge credit to them. We're lucky in Britain, we've got some of the best ones. They go on to do their jobs at European Championships, World Championships, Olympics and Paralympics as well. So we always make sure that we have good and fair swimming. As the judge in lane 3 there gets a face full of water for their troubles. So Alex Croston-Robbins then got himself into the lead. Nice little lead, 1.31 seconds over Rutherford, 6.13 over Bryan. Looking at the start list for the other heat, we've got Jay Lelliott, Sheffield Hallam. He'll be the favourite there. Asterios Stodogiannis, a medalist in yesterday's 1500. Luke Turley, also a medalist there as well. But Lelliott will be the man to beat. Former Bath swimmer, now up here at Sheffield Hallam and loving life again. Picked up a hatful at the short course championships before Christmas, way back in 2019. These two pretty much stroke for stroke, Croston-Robbins and Rutherford, at the halfway point. 6 minutes 45 gone in heat number 1 of the men's freestyle. 4 lengths to go. That's 200 metres to you and I. Angus Rutherford and Alex Croston-Robbins going stroke for stroke in this heat. Don't tell me that there isn't pride up for grabs. They want to get a victory. They want to set the time that, albeit short term, puts them at the top of the tree when it comes to the medals. Because you never know, stranger things have happened. And it is Rutherford who turns first. 150 metres to go, 7:15.09. Just a reminder of the entry times. Croston-Robbins, 8:54. Rutherford, 8:46. So if they can push each other on, they might just get away with a personal best here. Luke Bryan's managed to drop off. His was actually the fastest of the entry times, 8:43. As the whistles go, it is Rutherford who turns first. The relief of 100 metres to go after 700 hard metres in this opening heat. Still the 8 swimmers in heat number 2 to come. Huddard, Poole, Dodgianis, Lelliot, Turley, Murphy, Snook, Illingworth. But before that, we've got 60 metres of this one to go. Angus Rutherford, well, it's taken him 750 metres to get a healthy lead, and we don't see these kinds of leads turned around very often in distance swimming. So Rutherford from Croston-Robbins. Luke Bryan will split the two of them on the way up. It's quite a disheartening sight for him, knowing that they're on their final 25 and he's still got a full length to go. So Rutherford, 5 metres to go. The time he is chasing is 8:46.11. He's outside his PB, but he will take the first heat. 8:53.61 for Rutherford. Croston-Robbins in 8:56.64. So a couple of seconds outside the PB, which over 800 metres, still a pretty good swim. And Luke Bryan of Sheffield Hallam in his home pool strokes home for his final 15, now 10 metres. And that'll bring us to the end of the first heat of the 800 freestyle. Next up, the second heat, the heat we expect all the medals to come from before we move back to sprint swimming.
We now move on to heat 2.
No surprise that Jay Lelliot turns first. Let's give you a rundown of the swimmers here. Lane 0 and lane 9 are empty, so 8 swimmers in this second heat. Ryan Huddard of Derby in lane 1, Charlie Poole Sterling in 2, Asterios Dodgianis, bronze medalist in the 1500 metres yesterday, in lane 3. Jay Lelliot, the favourite for the event from Sheffield Hallam, goes in lane 4. Luke Turley, 1500 metre champion, goes in lane 5. Max Murphy, who just missed out on the medals in the 1500 yesterday, it was 4th place for him, he goes in 6. Liam Snook, Birmingham, in 7. And Marshall Illingworth from Glasgow in lane 8. I think it's going to be a case of just trying to hang on to the coattails of Lelliot and hope it's enough for silver or bronze. He is going to take some beating. Jay Lelliot, former European bronze medalist. Swam for a long time with Bath University. Now up here, loving life in Sheffield. And great to see him back swimming well too. He's won gold medals at Summer University World Games, which, given the way swimming's going, the standard of university swimming across the globe is absolutely staggering. So anytime you can pick up a medal anywhere, it deserves huge credit. We saw how hard Duncan Scott had to work for his gold medal earlier. One of the leading lights in terms of British swimming on the global scale. And Elliott turns in 2:29.12. So this will be the second gold medal awarded of this session. The first went to Glenister in the women's 800 freestyle. Further to Britain of UCL picking up the silver. M. Clark got her second medal, a bronze to add to the silver she won in the 1500 yesterday. Following this, we go back to the start. This really is a monster session. 3 heats of women's 200 freestyle, then 5 heats of men's 200 freestyle, 6 heats of 50 backstroke. Swim fans, strap in. Delighted to be bringing you all of the action uninterrupted from these 2019 Speedo BUCS, or 2020. Goodness me, it started as 2019. It's 2019-2020 Speedo BUCS Swim Series. Got there in the end. And these are the long course championships. And Jay Elliott has a long lead here. 4 minutes, .85 on the clock. He leads from Daldajanis, trying to go one better than he did yesterday, but he's got a race on his hands here because Luke Turley and him are stroke for stroke, and I think Turley might just turn in second place here. Yes, he is. Luke Turley attempting to get the better of his Loughborough counterpart for the second time in 2 days. 6 lengths to go. 8:06.93 the record. Don't think Elliott's going to get there today. He's given himself, what, just under 31 seconds per 50 metres for the remaining 6 lengths. I think that's a big ask in 800 freestyle. It's going to be a good time though. I think most importantly for Elliott and Sheffield Hallam, it is going to be a gold medal on the board. And interestingly, Hallam's first medal of the championships. Don't usually have to wait this long. Loughborough, if it does remain the same, will continue to rumble on. They've already picked up 4 bronze medals, a silver and a gold. Tell you what, he might be close to this record, you know. 6:02, well, all but 6:02. So he's got 2 minutes and 5 seconds, there or thereabouts, for his final 200 metres. Jay Elliott could be on the verge of something absolutely brilliant here. Unfortunately for him, he's got no one on his shoulder to really push his pace. But it's a good swim from Elliott. Luke Turley is going to pick up silver, and Asterios Dadolgianis is going to pick up bronze. But let's concentrate on the man at the front, Jay Elliott. He'll hear the whistle this time. He'll have 100 metres to go. And he's looking to get inside 8:06.93. Dan Fogg's BUCS record. .702.88 at the turn. Oh, it could be on here. How much wiggle room is he going to have at the turn? Are we going to see our first BUCS record of the Speedo BUCS Swim Series Long Course Championships? It's 7:32.92 at the turn for Elliott. He's got 33 seconds for the final 50 metres. 8:06.93 is the record. Dan Fogg from Loughborough has held it since 2008. This could be a 12-year-old record about to tumble as Jay Elliott, he's going to take the gold. He's going to break the BUCS record. 8:01.97. He hasn't just beaten it, he has smashed it. Jay Elliott, BUCS legend, now adds his name to the record books as Luke Turley takes silver, his second medal of the weekend, and Daldal Giannis adds to Loughborough's total. But Jay Elliott's the story. Decimates Dan Fogg's record. Fantastic effort, and I think anyone who's watched Jay swim over the years will be absolutely delighted for him. He takes gold, his first and Sheffield Hallam's first of the weekend, in a stunning time of 8:01.97. Well, all the swimmers home safely. William Snook stops the clock in 9:02.59. But Jay Elliott, what a show from him. That was the longest standing BUCS long course record. And it is no longer. Daniel Fogg confined to the annals of history because Jay Elliott is the new man in town.
So we'll just get back underway very shortly. We'll be moving back to event 2, which will be the Women's Open 200-metre freestyle. But what a long we've had so far here at Bronx Forge. And now we can move on to event 201 Women's Open 200-metre freestyle, heat number 1. So we move back to event 201, the Women's Open 200-metre freestyle. In lane 1, we have Bella DeFurry from Queen Mary's University, lane 3, Rachel McCary from Kiel, and lane 4, Megan Scott from Royal Holloway, and lane 5, Grace Harvey, and lane 7, Victoria Barrett, and in lane 7, Susanna Hext.
Back to the heats then. This is heat number 1 of the women's 200 freestyle. Ella Ghaffori in 1, Rachel McHenry in 2, Megan Stockford in 3, Grace Harvey in... I'll start that again. Ella Ghaffori in 2, Rachel McHenry in 3, Megan Stockford in 4, Grace Harvey in 5, Victoria Parrott in 6, Susanna Hext in lane 7. Have some para swimmers here. Grace Harvey is an S6. And Susanna Hext is an S5. In lane 4, Megan Stockford had the lead at halfway. 112.38 was her split, 113.76 for Rachel McHenry of Kiel. And they are leading out in front in lanes 4 and 3 respectively as McHenry starts to come through now. 200 metres, of course, 4 lengths of this Olympic-sized 50-metre pool. And McHenry's come through to lead. 3 heats of this women's 200 freestyle before we move on to the men's, where there are 5. Then back to the splash and dash, the 50 metres, the backstroke and the breaststroke, before we end the session with 100-metre fly. Still lots of swimming to come.
Rachel McHenry from Kiel, just edging in front of Megan Stockford and Laura Holloway. Grace Harvey in moments. 3rd position in the heat.
So coming towards the end of the heat then, McHenry takes it in 2:33.47. It's Stockford 2nd and Grace Harvey in 3rd place, 2:36.70. Final 2 swimmers just coming through now. It is Victoria Parrott in 6, Susanna Hext in 7, and then in lane 2, Ella Ghaffori of Queen Mary will be the last to touch home. Good kick finish from her after giving the legs a little rest. And she will stop the clock in 3. 15.72, much to the delight of her teammates in the crowd. And that ends heat number 1.
Okay, we now move on to heat 2.
Full house in heat number 2. Chloe Gambrill of Chichester in 0. In lane 1, Emma Johanna Rist-Jens of Winchester. Laurel Watts goes in 2 from UWE. Jasmine Lambert of Kent in 3. Grace Routledge, Northumbria 4. Holly Kitching of Beckett in 5. Abigail Webb, Durham in 6. Ellen Morley, Sheffield Hallam in 7. Emily Cairns of Leicester in 8. And Ellie Hurd of King's College in 9. Jasmine Lambert turns first after 50 metres. 33.17 the split. Abigail Webb 33.52 in 2nd place. You can see that judge there following them up and down. There are a couple of those on each side and they're looking for any anomalies in the stroke. I'd love to see their step count at the end of the day, particularly on the distance days. I mean, yesterday alone they'd have done 6 kilometres just following the 1500s. Jasmine Lambert of Kent maintaining her place out in front, 110.14 at the split. Ellen Morley, Sheffield, Hallam going well over there in lane 7 as well. She's got herself ahead of Abigail Webb. That one's ebbed and flowed, but I think Morley just starting to get the best of her Durham counterpart. As Lambert looks to come home. Just over a second ahead of Morley at 150 metres. This is a good finish though from Morley. Not entirely sure there's going to be enough in the tank here from Jasmine Lambert to hold on. Ellen Morley of Sheffield Hallam coming through. I think she's just edged ahead as they go past those red markers to indicate 15 metres. So Morley has come from 3rd to 1st, and Morley is going to take the heat. Cracking swim, 2:25.94. Ellen Morley, entry time of 2:30.55, so 4.5 seconds quicker than that. Great effort from her. Morley takes it. Lambert in 2nd place, Webb in 3rd. And coming through in lane 2, Laura Watts of UWE. They're all home safely. And that completes heat 2.
Heat number 3.
Final heat in the women's 200 free before we move on to the men. Full house again, no empty lanes. Emily Engels, Royal Holloway in 0. Elizabeth McCulloch of Exeter in 1. Eleanor Ritchie, Manchester in 2. From Bournemouth in lane 3, it's Alice Fender, and the early pace setter is in lane 4. Liverpool's Lucy Nicholson. Fiona Crane, Southampton in 5. Tilda Harper, UWE in 6. Hannah Blake, Cardiff Met in 7. Athena Heavy of Kiel in 8, and Amy Forrest of East Anglia goes in lane 9. Alice Fender, 31.02. Impressive stuff through 50 metres for the young Bournemouth swimmer. So 5 heats of the men's 200 free to come after this, then 6 heats of the women's 50 backstroke. Plenty of swimmers want a taste of the action here at Ponds Forge. Alice Fender fully in charge of this freestyle heat 3 though. 2nd place as it stands, Lucy Nicholson. Fun battle for 3rd, going well. Lane 1, we've got Elizabeth McCulloch, but you can kind of throw a blanket over them, really. It's going to be very close on the line. Even lane 0, Emily Engels not out of contention for a top 3 just yet. Over on the far side in lane 9, Amy Forrest turned in 5th last time. I think that could be as high as 3rd on the turn this time. In fact, it is Forrest who turns in 3rd place. So, Fender 1, Nicholson 2, Forrest 3. But then coming through in lane 6, Tilda Harper of UWE looking for that top 3 spot. Also Emily Engels in lane 0. But none of them are going to make an impression on Alice Fender from Bournemouth. She's going to take top spot. 2nd place is going to belong to Lucy Nicholson. And we're going to have to go to the scores for 3rd. 2:20.89. And good times here. Oh, lovely swim from Emily Engels. 2:25.82 for her. So Alice Fender, entry time 2:23 on the nose. Takes chunks out of that. Great personal best swimming from her. Fender 1, Nicholson 2, Engels 3.
Next up, it's event 202, the men's open 200-meter freestyle, Heat 1.
Takayuki Suzuki goes in lane 3, the S5 para swimmer. Thomas Bogdanski of Reading is in 4, and 2 keel swimmers in 5 and 6, Michael Bell and Joseph Guy respectively. This the first of 5 heats in the men's 200 freestyle.
So heat number 1 then, 4 swimmers in the pool.
Bogdanski of Reading stroking out for the lead after the first 50 metres. 31 dead, decent time for him. Michael Bell second, Joseph Guy third, and it will be Takayuki Suzuki, top level para athlete in the S5 classification, in 4th place. Just tuning in and you're thinking, oh, we're in the heats here. You will be correct, but if you wanted to see the seeding heats, or the seeded heats, then head back to the beginning of the live stream, because the way BUCS have structured this Speedo BUCS Long Course Championships is by stacking the fast heats at the top of the show to give those who are going to qualify for the final maximum recovery time before we head into the finals later on today. Still loads of swimming to come in this session. In fact, I think it might run all the way up to the start of session number 3. We've got finals to come. Also, fastest 3 heats in women's 200 backstroke, men's 200 breaststroke, women's 50 freestyle, men's 50 freestyle. And that's in the next session, that supposedly starts at 2 o'clock. And then we've got an evening session as well. So all of us working here at these championships, well, put it this way, we'll sleep well tonight. So Bogdanski is going to touch back first. Where's he going to stop the clock? 2:26.89. The crowd like that. Smashes his entry time, which are personal bests. And again, that's what we like to see. Athletes coming here, putting on a great show and leaving with a PB. Bell takes second. It's 3rd place for Joseph Guy. And Takayuki Suzuki is going to touch back in 4th place. But of course, with para swimming, mixed classification, there are times they have to stick to. And sometimes somebody who can finish 3rd or 4th in the race can actually end up on the top spot in the podium. So Takayuki Suzuki expected to get a lot of medals this weekend in terms of para swimming. But Bogdanski takes heat number 1 in the men's 200 free.
Okay, we now move on to heat 2.
Heat number 2 then. Luke Shaw in 0, Harry Faulkner in 1, George Farr in 2, James Boots in 3, Johan Davis in 4, Sam Alsop in 5, Nicolo Speroni in 6, Kane Smith 7, Mealy Jake Ukelsin in 8, and James Bradley goes in lane 9. Apologies for the radio silence at the start of that race. I've just been given a piece of information that would have been incredibly helpful at the start of the day. We've had some guest swimmers medal. Just been told that guest swimmers can't win medals. So, Michaela Glenister, her medal, her gold medal that I called earlier, isn't a medal at all. So that means that Britain's silver, aka UCL's first silver medal of the championships, is in fact the first gold medal of the championships. Clark's bronze actually becomes her second silver. And honestly, that one had put too fine a point on it. The medal table I've been keeping is absolutely ruined. Goodness gracious me. Anyway, how are we getting on here? Speroni from London. He leads 137.45 at the turn. In second place, we've got George Farr from Bournemouth, but we've got an outside lane flyer here, James Bradley from East Anglia. He is going to make up the top 3 in freestyle heat 2. Close finish here though, lane 2, lane 6, both reaching for the line, and it goes to George Farr, 2:12.37. Speroni of London, 2:12.54. Great race between those two. Very exciting indeed. James Boots takes 4th place. James Bradley in lane 9 picks up 3rd. And that ends heat 2.
So the qualification for a technical infraction in lane 0 of that heat. We now move on to heat 3.
Heat number 3 of 5 in the men's 200 freestyle then. Dan Parker, King's College, goes in 0. Naoki Toyomura of London in 1. Antoine Clédier of Imperial in 2. Patrick Swain, Northumbria in 3. Etienne Tillon of Leeds Beckett in 4. Benjamin Strover, Imperial in 5. Thomas Costa, Imperial in 6. Felix Mayer, St Andrews in 7. Dylan Bulcock of Bangor in 8, and Iwan Thomas of Southampton in 9. Good Welsh name, Iwan Thomas. Not to be confused with Ewan Thomas, who is also from Southampton. Well, he's certainly a Southampton supporter. Anyway, let's not get bogged down in football trivia. Etienne Tillon of Leeds Beckett. He leads at the halfway point, 1 minute, 0.14. Is his split time. Clédier from Imperial, he's in second at the split. The race for 3rd, not quite as cut and dried as that. The 2 men in the outside lanes, Parker in 0 and Thomas in 9, both putting on a good show, as is Felix Mayer of St Andrews in lane 7, who needs a big final 50 metres. Etienne Tillon is already on his final 50 metres. He's got a lead of over 1.5 seconds over Clédier and over 4 seconds on Parker in 0, who is the man who turns in 3rd place here in men's 200 freestyle heat number 3. Still 2 heats to come after this before we move on to the women's 50 backstroke. Late surge here from Clédier of Imperial, but Tillon is going to take it. Tillon wins heat number 3, 2:05.81. Again, over 3 seconds out of his entry time. Great swimming. Clédier, 2:07.90. So again, his entry time of 2:10. People knocking chunks out of their PBs. Proof of the good coaching they're getting as part of their university programs. In Heat 3, Patrick Swain is about to touch back, and then finally in lane 8, Dylan Bucock from Bangor completing the party and bringing an end to Heat 3.
Now we move on to Heat 4.
Heat number 4. Jonathan Day in 0. From Bristol, from Durham in 1, it's Will Charles. Joseph Woolard of Exeter in 2. Lawrence Guilford of Warwick goes in lane 3. Joshua Frampton of York in 4. Matty Johnson in 5 from Oxford. Mark Tuddenham of Southampton goes in lane 6. From Sheffield in lane 7, it's Matt Whitcomb. And from Manchester in lane 8, Kieran Beckett. Finally, from Brunel in lane 9, Christian Bilas. Gilfrin just outside 28 seconds through his first 50 metres. Good swim from the Warwick man. He's got a lead of about half a body length over Joseph Woolard. It was 0.15 at the turn. I've got a feeling it's going to be a little bit more than that at the halfway point.
Meters of this heat. Lawrence Griffin of Warwick University just edging in front. And we still have a minute in this heat at the halfway stage. 59.53.
59.53 from Gilfrin. Good time. It's been a little bit of an error on Woolard's time. It hasn't registered at the split, but my eyes can tell me that he slipped down into 3rd place because Matty Johnson of Oxford is coming through strong in the second half of this race, and he's closing down Lawrence Gilfrin as well, and could well turn in 1st place going into the final 50 metres. Well, it's Johnson in 2nd. Woolard has slipped down to 4th place, the Exeter man, 135.46. And Johnson giving us a great example of how to pace a 200. Well, Lawrence Gilfrin, it's like someone's dropped a weight in his swim shorts because he's going backwards here. Kieran Beckett of Manchester has gone past him, and it's going to be Johnson who takes the heat. It is going to be Beckett in 2nd place from Manchester, and Gilfrin just about hangs on to 3rd place as well. But 204.77 for Johnson. Another personal best of well over a second. Good return for him in Heat 4. One heat to come in the men's 200 free before we move on to the women's backstroke.
Plenty going on out of the pool this weekend. Our main headline sponsor, Speedo, are here, alongside Camp America and Student Roost, amongst others. Plenty of prizes to win throughout the weekend, so make sure to get involved.
Final heat then of the men's 200 freestyle. We've got a full house again. Louis Easton, well, I say that, and then cast my eyes up, and lane 8 disappears from before my very eyes. Louis Easton in 0, Tiago Laurie in 1, Dan Wheeler 2, Hodder and Mallon in 3, Will Hogg in 4, Jack Sangster in 5, Jacob Robson 6, Stuart Evans 7. Lane 8's empty. Jack Andrew goes in lane 9. So Jack Sangster, 27.79, very quick through 50 metres for the Bedfordshire man. Nice swim over there in lane 9 as well from Durham. Jack Andrew, he turns in second place, doesn't have anyone to compare his progress with directly inside him. Does mean that he won't have to deal with quite so many waves from the swimmers though in those outside lanes. Very often we hear them complain about. It's about the halfway point. Sangster through in under a minute. Good swim from that man. Jack Andrew looking like he's just starting to slow down now. Maybe he went off a little bit too quickly. Dan Wheeler of Leeds Beckett turned in third place. I think he might be in second with 50 metres to go, but Sangster just increasing his lead in this, the 5th and final heat of the men's 200 freestyle. We won't see any more 200 freestyle until the final. After this race, we move on to the 50 backstroke. Jackie Sangster, 130.57 for Sangster, just increasing his lead. Yeah, Jack Andrew just starting to ease off, so Dan Wheeler's going to take second in lane 3. Audran Malon of Newcastle putting himself a very good chance of getting third place, but Sangster takes it. It will be second place for Wheeler and third place for Malon. 201.67 for Sangster as well. Nearly a second off his PB. So PBs all round for the winners of the 200 heats. Next we move back to the women's competition where we have 6 heats of backstroke.
That was the final heat then of the men's open 200 metre freestyle. So we now move on to event 203, the women's open 50 metre backstroke, heat 1.
Just 3 swimmers in the opening heat then. Hannah Jane Budd of Northampton in lane 3, Alice Bennett of Leicester in lane 4, Heather Furnish of Kent in lane 5. The fastest entry time, Alice Bennett of Leicester, 40 seconds on the nose. 40.12 for Furnish, 41.31 for Budd. Pretty close at the halfway point, but it is Bennett of Leicester who's got about half a body length between her and the rest of the field. In second place it's Hannah Jane Budd, and then in third Heather Furnish. Coming through to the final few strokes in heat number 1. The pace setter for the 6 heats, and it is 41.22 for the winning time for Alice Bennett. Hannah Jane Budd 42.10 in second and 43.56 for Heather Furnish in third.
Heat number 2.
And as they go into the water for heat number 2, in lane 0 we have Sian Barnes of Bedfordshire. From Winchester, Charlotte Nash in 1, Georgia Hartley Salford in 2, Kira Halpin Reading in 3. From UWE, Shelley Young in 4, Trinity Wiltshire of Bangor in 5, Yvonne Winterbourne Imperial in 6, Heidi Chapman St Andrews in 7, Kerry Williams of York St John in 8, and Anna Tomaselli of London goes in lane 9, heat number 2. Shelley Young in lane 4, the only swimmer with an entry time of under 36 seconds. 35.87 is what she's attempting to beat. And in the dark cap and the dark swimsuit, she's had the quickest start. And at the halfway point, she's pretty much a full body length ahead of everyone else. In second place at the moment from Salford, it's Georgia Hartley. But can anyone come through and put a little bit of scrutiny on these top 2? In lane 6, Yvonne Winterbourne looking good for 3rd place, but it will be Shelley Young, UWE, in 34.84. She goes under 35 seconds for the first time. PB for Young. Georgia Hartley takes 2nd place, Yvonne Winterbourne in 3rd.
Heat 3.
Heat 3, Rachel Alexander in 0, Ella Wood in 1, Lydia Barnsley 2, Gabby Ickmat in 3, Poppy Jenkins 4, Charlotte Waddington in 5, Georgia Jones in 6, Jimin Han in 7, Amelia Clough in lane 8, and in lane 9, Eleanor Ritchie. Well, as expected, the faster swimmers in the middle lanes. Poppy Jenkins and Charlotte Waddington in 4 and 5, just 0.06 between them. They're the only swimmers who've gone under 35 seconds. Gabby Ickmat's personal best, 35 on the nose, and it is those 3 at the front at the moment. You can throw a blanket over them at the halfway point, but in lane 5 it is Charlotte Waddington who just manages to get that yellow capped head out in front. Really strong final 25 from her. And in lane 1, Ella Wood from Arts Bournemouth coming through strongly as well. It is first place though for Waddington. What a time as well, 33.87. She becomes the first in the field to go under 34 seconds. PBs all round. Amelia Clough, 34.71 as well. Her first time under 35 seconds. She picks up 2nd place, and Ella Wood smashes her PB too. 3 swimmers under 35, 1 under 34, and another heat done. Heat 4, Linton in 0, Hopkins 1, Fell 2, Harrod 3, Farmer 4, Roberts 5, Fisher 6, Allenby 7, McGovern 8, and Miller 9. And in lane 4, it is Farmer who's gone off the quickest, 33.70, her personal best, which is exactly the same as Sian Roberts from Liverpool John Moores in lane 5, who's been left behind here. It is all Lucy Farmer. Going well in lane 7, we have Allenby as well, but Farmer touches back, 32.27. That is a massive personal best for Lucy Farmer. From 33.7 to 32.27. Over 1.4 seconds. That is a great day in the office for Lucy Farmer. Very well swum indeed. On to heat 5. 2 heats to come then in the women's 50 backstroke. Here we have Martin in 0, Hamid in 1, Holden in 2, Hodgson in 3, Benny in 4, Armisen 5, Livermore 6, Telford 7, goes Coveney in 8 and Galbraith in 9. And in lane 7, Jessica Telford of Birmingham. Orange cap, purple suit, she leads, but then coming on strong in lane 3 we have Hodgson, and in lane 1 we have Hamid. But over there in lane 7, Jessica Telford of Birmingham takes the top spot, 32.03. And that is another personal best of over a second. These championships bringing out the best from 33.04 to 32.03. If you're going to do it, why not do it at a national championship? Jessica Telford wins heat number 5 and a personal best time, and she'll be knocking on the door of sub 32 in the near future. Now, are we going to have a sub 32 here? Final heat. Lindsay Wright in 0, Millie Sale in 1, Freya Beck in 2, Luisa Farace Trajano in 3, Megan Slider in 4, Izzy Shea in 5, Georgina Butler in 6, Amy Richardson 7, Gemma McLeod in 8, and Lana Moe in lane 9. Megan Slider of Aberdeen, a personal best of 32.2, 32.26 for Izzy Shea, 32.35 for Trajano, 32.51 for Freya Beck. But over here in lane 0, Lindsay Wright going along quite nicely indeed. Lindsay Wright, personal best of 32.75 from Derby. And it is Lindsay Wright, but they're coming on strong on the far side as well. Are we going to have a lane 0 winner? Doesn't happen very often. Yes, we are. Lindsay Wright, 32.45, takes the victory. And our first lane 0 winner of the entire championship. She takes the final heat in the women's 50 backstroke in a time of 32.45. 0.3 second PB for her. And that brings the curtain down on the women's 50 backstroke heats. So into the men's 50 backstroke. First up, we've got Cameron Brown in 0, Alexander Rees in 1, James Matthews in 2, Johnny Bryant in 3, Roy Weller 4, Max Fitzgerald 5, Samuel Boulou in 6, and David Finnerty in 7. Finally, Robert Payne in 8, so lane 9 will be empty. Roy Weller from De Montfort in lane 4, the fastest in the field. Jonathan Bryant of Hull was the first out of the water. And at the halfway point, it is Fitzgerald and Weller going stroke for stroke in the middle. They're ahead of Bryant, Matthews and Boulou in 3, 2 and 6 respectively. But what about this in lane 4? Roy Weller just stroking away. Where did that come from? Looks like someone's tied weights to the feet of Max Fitzgerald, but 32.10 for Roy Weller. Personal best for him from 32.72, so 0.62 of a second off his best time. And Roy Weller takes heat number 1. Boulou picks up 2nd, James Matthews picks up 3rd, and we move on to heat 2. Well, we've had a disqualification, hence the delay in the official times. Cameron Brown, the unfortunate man, he leaves with a DQ. And we blow the whistle on heat 2. William Sadler in lane 0, Calvin Wong in 1, James Bilham in 2, Isaac Fillingham in 3, Jake Brassington 4, Daniel Bezadenhu in 5, Sanchez Capuchin in 6, Thomas Goff in 7, Gomersall 8, Keast in 9. Away we go. Could have a time around 31 seconds here. Jake Brassington of Liverpool in lane 4. quickest entry time, but it's lane 1. Kelvin Wong has got off to a flyer here, and Dominic Keast in lane 9 started well, but just starting to drop off now as Kelvin Wong of Bristol looking to take it home in lane 3. Isaac Fillingham of Heriot Watt in second place, but Kelvin Wong takes it by 28.99. What a brilliant time. Kelvin Wong goes under 30 seconds for the first time and decides while he's there he's going to go under 29 as well. 28.99 for Kelvin Wong. The first in this field to go under 30 seconds. Big congratulations to him. Only athlete who's done so far in these outside heats. Smokes 50 metres and sets a PB. Heat number 3. Handed start lists. 6 full pages for this opening session. We're on to page number 5. And we've got Reese Walker in 0, James Portier in 1, James Foster in 2. Abdallah Almanzoblawi in 3, Felix Mayer in 4, Owen Drabwell 5, Rhys Llewellyn in 6, Joshua Arnon in 7, Edward Burrows in 8, and Thomas Harrington in lane 9. Lane 1's empty. Reese Walker of Bournemouth gets off to a good start in 0. It's pretty splashy out there in heat number 3. Now, can Walker hold on? He's got himself a nice lead here. Lonely swim out there in lane 0, so he's decided to get it over and done with quickly. 28.96. Again, a 2-second PB. Some absolutely brilliant swims. Felix Mayer, he sets a PB as well, goes under 30 seconds for the first time. Great performances. Clubs and coaches will be very pleased with these. Still 3 heats to go. So the runners and riders in heat 4. Dorland in 0, Batty in 1, Duncan 2, Matthias 3, McCallie in 4, Eshelby 5, Boyd in 6, Tate 7, Blackshaw 8, Conti 9. And this is close a start as we've had, and at the halfway point very difficult to tell who's got themselves into the lead. Boyden going well in lane 6, as is Eshelby in lane 5. No lane 0 flyer this time, but Eshelby of York starting to maybe get himself half a head lead as we go towards the final. And it is Eshelby, 29.71 ahead of Boyden and McCallan, but great battle in those middle lanes. And again, athletes going sub 30. Good standard, good swimming here.
Just waiting for those confirmed results on that heat, and then we'll move on to heat number 5.
Heat number 4 of 6. Jack Dorland in 0, James Batty in 1, Rory Duncan in 2, Tom Matthias in 3, Joe McCallie in 4, Charlie Eshelby 5. Oh no, that's gone absolutely terribly. I've just started reading out the competitors from the previous heat. Nightmare. They finally updated the scoreboard. And I can try and redact my blushes by reading out the correct starters for heat number 5. Harry Manship in 0, Jack Corston in 1, Josh Frampton in 2, Timothy Moores in 3, Harry Puffett in 4, Reese Ashton 5, Ethan Taylor 6, Cameron Jones 7, Arta Akulenko in 8, and Michael Sim in lane 9. Last out of the water is Harry Puffett of Nottingham in lane 4, and now he can start to reel in the good start from Ethan Taylor in lane 6. In lane 5 though, it's Rhys Ashton in the pink shorts and the white hat who just about gets himself in front. Watch out for Jack Corston in lane 1 though. Can he have something to say here? It's going to be Rhys Ashton who gets the victory in the penultimate heat. What's the time looking like? 28.87 for Ashton. Good time for him. First time under 29 seconds in competition. A PB in the penultimate heat. Ashton takes it for Leeds University. The only man under 29 seconds in that heat. Puffett, 29.55 for second. Corston in lane 1 picks up third. Final heat then of the 50 back before we move on to the 50 breast. Kelvin Cheng in 0. Matthew Evans 1, Morgan Davis 2, Alex Dinn 3, Aaron Bostock 4, in 5 Stuart Crawford, Joe Stott in 6, Kevin Pickard 7, William Medcalf 8, Jake Williams in 9, and going along beautifully is Matthew Evans in lane 1 in that Manchester Met blue and orange colours. Over in lane 8 as well, William Medcalf from Hertfordshire got himself in with a potential place, but coming through strongly in lane 2 as well as Morgan Davis, but no doubt that Evans takes it. Well, my eyes deceived me. It was Metcalf in lane 8. We'll keep our eye on the scores here, because my eyes tell me lane 1, the clock tells me lane 8. I think there could be a little bit of a delay on the results here, but a good race and a great way to finish the heats of the men's 50 metres backstroke nonetheless. Remember, we've already had the seeded heats, and none of these times have managed to get inside the top 10 required to get into the final later on today. What we do know is Kelvin Cheng in lane 0 has been disqualified. So it was Matthew Evans who managed to get the victory there. My eyes did not deceive me. Evans from Metcalf. Davis picking up third, which concludes the 50 metres backstroke. We move on to heat number 1 of 7 in the women's 50 metre breaststroke. Just the 3 athletes going in heat number 1 then. In lane 3, closest to us, Charlotte Goodship. Joyce Chan goes in 4, Jasmine Jarvis in 5. Goodship swimming for Chichester, Joyce Chan for Glasgow Caledonian, and Jasmine Jarvis for Leicester. Joyce Chan the quickest in terms of entry times, 47 seconds for her. 52.84 for Jasmine Jarvis. And Charlotte Goodship of Chichester, 56 seconds her entry time, as Joyce Chan strokes herself into a lead in lane 4. She's going to take this opening heat. What is the time going to be? Will it be a PB? Yeah, 44.13, a very comfortable PB as well. 48.20 now. Can Jasmine Jarvis be joined by Charlotte Goodship in terms of 3 swimmers, 3 PBs? Oh, she's just outside. So PBs for Chan and Jarvis, not quite for Goodship, but that completes heat 1.
Disqualification in lane 5 of that heat. Disqualification in lane 5 of that heat. Now move on to heat 2.
Away we go in heat number 2 then. A couple of empty lanes this time. No one in 0, so in 1 we have Hannah Walker, York St John. From London, Jay Weston goes in 2. Emily Simmons from Bangor in 3. Kaylee Venables, Worcester in 4. From Liverpool, Alexandra Williams in 5. Megan Chen, King's College in 6. Hannah Meaden of Chichester in 7. Amy Aston, Northampton in 8. And look how close it is at the halfway point. Emily Simons perhaps just in the lead, but coming through strong. Alexandra Williams of Liverpool in lane 5. It's all going to be on the final 10 metres, and it's looking like Alexandra Williams of Liverpool is going to have the strongest of finishes, and Williams will take heat number 2 in a time of 42.36. No PBs in that heat for the leaders. Before that, we had Kaylee Venables, the only swimmer to go under 42 seconds. She finishes 4th in 44.44. Heat number 2 done. Time for heat number 3. In 0 we have Millie Laffey, Beth Watmore in 1, Rebecca McGowan in 2, Lydia Bingham 3, Lucy Pearce 4, Poppy Jenkins 5, Daisy De Harris in 6, Rebecca Meredith 7, Evie Gardner 8, Juliet Buckle in 9. Poppy Jenkins, Royal Holloway, getting her head just ahead of the rest of the field. Evie Garner in Southampton not far behind. Also in lane 3, Lydia Bingham of Bournemouth coming towards the end. It's going to be lane 5 again. Poppy Jenkins, Royal Holloway, she's going to take it from Lydia Bingham, and it will be Evie Gardner of Southampton making up the top 3. Poppy Jenkins there. Oh, nice little personal best, 39.29, beating her 39.50. Great way to win a race. I can swim it faster than you ever have done before. But 3 of them there under the 40-second barrier in heat 3. Straight underway with heat 4. Starters are on it today. Stanton in 0, Anderson 1, Flint 2, Kemp 3, Jones 4, Gillies 5, Raguaseo 6, Tang 7, Crawshaw 8, and Briggs in lane 9. Super close start. Lane 5, Katie Gillies of Aberdeen briefly in the lead, but Rhian Jones of York next to her in the black cap and the blue suit, pushing her all the way from Emily Kemp Leicester, currently in 3rd place, just ahead of Catherine Flint from De Montfort. But final few strokes, Gillies or Jones? It is Gillies, 37.45. Under 38 seconds for the first time for both Gillies and Jones in the closest race we've had so far in the women's 50 breaststroke. Gillies takes it from Jones. Then in 3rd place we have Flint, 38.86 personal bests all round. Heat number 5, Ashwin in 0, Bunker 1, Desai 2, Osili 3, Dib 4, Sharp 5, Chittleberg 6, Vodden 7, Dean 8, Card in 9. Good start from Eleanor Vodden of Sheffield Hallam over in lane 7. Now the middle lane starting to come through, particularly Molly Dibb of Bristol in lane 4, and next to her from Reading, Chloe Osili in lane 3. In fact, I think Osili is just about in front, but over there in lane 7, Vodden still going well. This will be tight on the finish. Well, they've given it to Osili. Dibb has just picked up 2nd. Look at that, 0.02 between 1st and 2nd. And then just 0.1 of a second behind the leader, Chittleberg. That is some serious racing. Heat number 6 In lane 0 from Harriet Watt, Anya Reid. Derby's Lindsay Wright in 1. Cardiff Met's Hannah Reid in 2. In lane 3 from Sheffield Hallam, it's Alice Dennis. Emma Hutton from Keele in 4. Ellie Tripp Manchester in 5. Leeds Beckett's Alex Potts in 6. In lane 7, Kirsten Young from Edge Hill. From St Andrews, Carlin Kennington in lane 8. And finally from Edge Hill, Melissa Carter goes in lane 9. Hudson, Tripp and Potts, stroke for stroke at the halfway point, but Anya Reid from Harriet Watts sneaking up here in lane 0 on the inside. She's left Lindsay Wright behind. But I think coming through in lane 3, Alice Dennis from Sheffield Hallam is going to pip her to the post. Dennis of Hallam will take it in 35.66 for Dennis. Personal best again. Brilliant swim from Dennis. First time she's been under 36 in competition. Hudson takes second place just outside her PB. So a well-deserved win for Alice Dennis as we move into the final heat of the women's 50 breaststroke. Thompson, Durham in 0, Jack Leeds Beckett in 1, Slater Glasgow in 2, in 3 from Bangor it's Profit, Pirrie East Anglia in 4, Durham's Hodgson in 5, Glasgow's Walsh in 6, from Nottingham it's Ellie Ward in 7, Chelsea Bean of East Anglia in 8, and Roxanne Oos of Northampton in lane 9, and Gigi Slater of Glasgow in lane 2 is the pace setter. Coming up to 10 metres to go. We've not had a lane 2 winner yet. In second place, outside her in lane 3 is Natasha Profit of Bangor, but Gigi Slater, 34.07. What a time that is. 35.30 was her personal best coming into this. That is 1.23 seconds. Profit goes under 35 as well, but Slater with the swim of the round in Heat 7. Great way to draw a close to the women's 50-metre breaststroke. We move on to the men's. Men's Open 50 then, heat number 1, just the 3 swimmers. And in lane 3, with some catching up to do already, we have Chris Coleman of Leicester, Miles Dolman of Aberystwyth, and William Saldana of Bradford go in lanes 4 and 5 respectively. Dolman, the senior member of this group, born all the way back in 1999, won't remember Manchester United winning the treble. His PB, 38.47. He's going to stop the clock miles inside that. 35.90 for him. He takes heat number 1. Saldana, 39.40. And then Coleman sets a PB as well. So 2 out of the 3 setting PBs. And Dolman takes heat 1. Heat number 2 then. Christian Porton in lane 0, Daniel Jones in 1, Cameron Brown in 2, Caton Gurn in 3, George Williams of Aberdeen in 4, Matty Cheeseborough of Oxford Brookes in lane 5, Kjetil Rem, University West England in 6, Jan Ernst of Bangor in 7, Ethan Kitto of Kent in 8, and Thomas Bogdanski of Reading in lane 9. It is that man in lane number 6 though, Kjetil Rem of UWE, set the early pace. The 2 in the middle starting to come through now, as is Daniel Jones of Liverpool John Moores in lane 1, but Kjetil Rem, UWE, holds on to take it. 33.21 for Rem. Again, knocking chunks out of his personal best. I've got to mention it because it's a great achievement, but we just get used to athletes bringing their best to these championships. He was up over 35 seconds before, and he'll have his eye on going below 33 when it comes to it. But he takes heat number 2.
So disqualification in that heat in lane 0. As we now move on to heat 3.
Unfortunately, Christian Porter was disqualified from that heat. This is the lineup for heat number 3. Koska 0, Ross 1, Bryan 2, Butler 3, Bowler 4, Collins 5, Taylor 6, Webber 7, Payne 8, Swain 9. Last out of the water then, Henry Butler in lane 3. Will Bowler of Lancaster flies out in lane 4. Already got half a body length's lead over the man outside him, Alfie Collins in lane 5. No one from the outside lanes really making any impression at the moment. So Will Bowler is going to take heat number 3. Personal best going into this, 34 dead. Oh, he's going to be miles ahead of that. Very close race in the end. Bowler 31.56, Collins 31.65, 0.09 of a second between them. That is close quality racing. The two of them over 2 seconds ahead of their 34 dead entry time. And just like that, we move on to heat 4. There's a Dunford of Bangor there, getting a little bit overexcited on the blocks in lane number 1. So we'll reset and he'll have another go at it. While we do wait for them to reset, just taking this opportunity again to thank Speedo and all of our official partners at the Speedo BUCS Swim Series. Outgoing, Speedo, Student Boost, Camp America. As we reset for 50-metre backstroke heat 4. Oliver Hicks in lane 0, Ezra Dunford in lane 1, Josh Patel 2, Phelan McAnally 3. In 4 it's Danny Pirrott, Joe Thorpe goes in 5. In lane 6 Luke Timbrell, Harry Manship in 7, Jacob Mason in 8, Leith Al-Frouk in 9. And we do get away this time at the second time of asking. First to emerge, Phelan McAnally. And now the race is on. Over in lane 7 there, Harry Manship of Nottingham in that green cap was in the lead at the halfway point, but now Josh Patel from Warwick coming through in the black cap in lane 2. And also in lane 5, Joe Thorpe of Sheffield. Well, they've given it to Manship. Just a 1/10 of a second ahead of Josh Patel. And then Joe Thorpe, 33.34, holds on for 3rd place. Harry Manship, though, takes a good victory. 33.31 was his personal best. They keep on tumbling. Heat number 5. Alexi Lindo in 0, Mitch Coombs in 1, Dowling 2, Wilson 3, Mac 4, Abdullah Koob in 5, Cledier 6, Chan 7, Maitland 8 and Wicks in 9. In fact, I do apologise. We're coming through here. We've got Danny Pirrett in lane 4. He's going to take the victory. And apologies for the delay in the results. Just having a few technical issues all over the show at the moment, but the action comes so thick and fast we don't have any time to reset it. As soon as we get those results, we will bring them to you. What I can tell you is we are in the midst of the men's 50-metre breaststroke heat. Still a few to come before we move on to the 100 butterfly. And then there'll be a short break before we pick the action up again at 2 p.m. We have a whole host of heats and finals still to come on day 2 of the Speedo BUCS Swim Series Long Course Championships from Ponds Forge. We've already had some champions crowned today. Now we do have a lineup for Heat 6. There it is, great news. They've turned it off and turned it back on again. So in Heat 6, Keenan Napper in 0, Joseph McLean in 1, Sam Westerman 2, Jamie Kettle in 3, in 4, Cathal Burns, Ryan Lamprell goes in 5, Stephen Stanley in 6, Gabriel Cange in 7, Alex Dinn in 8, Cameron Manley in 9, and we are underway. Heat 6 of 7 in the 50-metre breaststroke. Nothing between them in the opening 20. Who's going to have the power to really bring it through in the final 25 metres? Goodness me, this is going to be tight. Lane 5, Ryan Lamprell of Southampton looking strong, as is Sam Westerman of Exeter in lane 2, but Lamprell or Westerman, so difficult to tell. They're going to stop the clock at very similar times, and Lamprell's going to take it 31.61, 31.71, so a tenth of a second between them again. We've had such tight racing in these 50s. But now the 7th and final heat. Simpson in 0, Stott 1, Filer 2, Cross 3, Gullier 4, Zhang 5, Loveman 6, Hunter 7, Heitsu in 8 and Quinn in 9. We're going to close the door on the 50 metres for this session after this. And over there in lane 9, Jonathan Quinn of Aberdeen has a good chance here, but Matt Cross of Leeds in lane 3, finishing with a flourish. We've not had many lane 9 winners. Are we going to get one here? Yeah, we are. Look at that, 30.11 as well. Jonathan Quinn goes under 31 seconds for the first time in competition, takes over a second off his personal best, and he pips Matt Cross, who finishes second in 30.80. And then William Loveman picks up third in the 7th and final heat of the men's 50 breaststroke. Nine races of this session to go. 9 groups of people who are suckers for punishment, because it is the 100 butterfly. 3 heats in the women's, 6 in the men's. We've got 7 in the pool here. Helen Smith of Reading goes in 1. Brianna Underwood of Warwick in 2. Lucy G of Kent in 3. In lane 4 from Liverpool John Moores, it's Rachel Harris. Rusha Mondal of King's College goes in 5. Emma Johanna Ristiens of Winchester in 6, and Esme Pearce of Exeter in lane 7. Here we are then, 2 lengths of lung-busting butterfly. In lane 5, Marusha Mondal is the last to emerge from the water. Holds her nerve for the longest, and her and Rachel Harris of Liverpool John Moores in those middle lanes, the early pace setters. Helen Smith from Reading. Good start from her, but just starting to get swallowed up by the rest of the group. Lucy G of Kent is going to turn in 3rd place, behind Mondal in 1st, and Harris of Liverpool John Moores in 2nd. 32.95 for Mondal in the opening split. Helen Smith of Reading eventually turning in 3rd, but great work off the wall from Lucy G of Kent in the blue suit and the black hat, and in fact she's going to reel in Rachel Harris here. Marusha Mondal's going to take it home, but Lucy G has flown through. She's going to take 2nd. Marusha Mondal takes the victory, 1:11.30. Poor Rachel Harris, she looks like she's swimming through wet concrete. She led, well, she was in 2nd place at the change, but she's going to finish down the pack as Lucy G picks up 2nd. Emma Johanna Rist of Winchester takes 3rd. Pierce 4th, Harris 5th. Heat number 2, and a full house this time. Leicester's Megan Armitage goes in 0. Glasgow's Claire Thompson in 1. Florence Ward of Durham in lane 2. Amy Richardson of Glasgow Caledonian in 3. From Manchester in lane 4, it's Ellie Molyneux. And from Bangor in lane 5, it's Megan Cook. Ginevra Cassati of Imperial in 6. Jade Hand of Gloucestershire in 7. From Durham in lane 8, it's Abigail Webb. And from Liverpool in lane 9, Lauren Barraclough. Ellie Molyneux of Manchester turns in 1st place. She's got a 2nd lead over Hand, and it's 1.4 seconds over Thompson. Remember, we've already had the seeded heats, so these are just for times, for BUCS points for the universities, and for personal bests for the swimmers. Now Molyneux perhaps just starting to tie up. Did she go off too quickly, and is Claire Thompson going to be able to come through and take it from her? Maybe Amy Richardson in lane 3 can put some pressure on too. Molyneux still leading, but really struggling as Claire Thompson finishes very strongly indeed and takes the win, 1:10.16. Molyneux, after that great start, just hit the wall, and Richardson and Thompson did enough to get past her. So there's your top 3: Thompson, Richardson, Molyneux. And we move on to the 3rd and final heat.
Now move on to heat 3.
Final heat in the women's 100 butterfly before we move on to the men's, and Megan Mann of Newcastle goes in lane 0. Cameron Minifie, Liverpool in 1. Lauren Palmer-Jones of York in 2. In lane 3 from Lancaster, Lucy Gotter. Eloise Clements of Kent goes in 4. Lauren Nelson, East Anglia in 5. Glasgow's Caitlin Slater in 6. Lily O'Brien of Leeds in 7. Rebecca Howman of Southampton goes in lane 8, and Ottilie Marsden of Aberdeen goes in lane 9 as Eloise Clements leads at the halfway point, 30.56 seconds. Lauren Nelson also goes through in under 31, and then Caitlin Slater in lane 6, currently in 3rd spot, but that's going to come under scrutiny. Now Eloise Clements, she's gone out quickly, as Ellie Molyneux did in the first heat. Is she going to hit the wall now and get reeled in, or does she have enough in the tank to take it home in the final heat of the women's competition? She looks strong. Eloise Clements of Kent if anything, has increased her lead, and she's going to take the third and final heat before we start with 7 of the men's heats. And it is Clements 106.33 for the win, Slater second, Nelson third, but they're coming in thick and fast here. All good times completing the women's competition, and that is the end of the Open 100 butterfly for this session. Now we have 6 heats in the men's. Heat 1 of 6 in the men's 100 fly. Henry Blomfeld in 0, Mateusz Lipovic in 1. In lane 2, Sam Alsop, Max Fitzgerald goes in 3, Adam Hewitt in 4, Kane Smith 5, Pietro Lazzarotto in 6, Matteo Rosafio in 7, Ryan Cumming in lane 8, James Bradley goes in lane 9, and it is James Bradley. Got himself off to a little flyer here in lane number 9. He's neck and neck with Adam Hewitt of Harriet Watt in lane 4. They turn in first and second respectively. Henry Blomfeld turns in third place, but he's gone out quickly in lane 0. Lipovic getting himself on parity in lane 1, as is Alsop in lane 2. So the race now is between lane 9 and lane 4. Bradley and Hewitt respectively. Hewitt in the yellow cap. It's a slow stroke, but he looks so powerful from that core as he comes out of the water. Huge strength from the back. And it will be Adam Hewitt of Harriet Watt who takes it, and James Bradley is going to hold on for second place. Good race between lanes 1 and 2 for third, but Hewitt takes it 109.65. James Bradley 110.22, and then Lipovic manages to reel in Alsop, and poor Blomfeld, after that great start, fell off the wagon a bit in the second 50, as so often happens in that punishing 100-metre butterfly. But they're all home and hosed. 5 heats to go.
Just a reminder to spectators and swimmers across Ponds Forge, could we ask you not to use any flash photography throughout the swimming this weekend. So a disqualification to bring you from that heat.
Receiving news that Pietro Lazzarotto was in fact disqualified from heat number 1. That's why there's a little bit of a delay before we get underway with heat number 2. A couple of Paris swimmers in here. We've got John Law, the S13, and Oliver Carter in the S10 classification. And away we go first time. Lachlan Caulfield of St Andrews in 0, Sean Curley of Oxford Brookes in 1, John Law from Stirling, the S13 swimmer, in lane 2, Jordan Barnes, Sheffield in 3, Paolo Moniz of Manchester in 4, Long Kit Chu of Exeter in 5, John Talensky of UCL in lane 6, Oliver Carter, the S10 swimmer, also from Stirling, in 7, Jack Chislett of Kent in 8, and Domingo Armenol of Leicester in lane 9. Talensky 28.5, he turns first ahead of Sean Curley of Oxford Brookes in lane 1. So Talensky of UCL in lane 6, that red cap still out in front, not coming under a huge amount of scrutiny, but needs to stay strong here because Sean Curley of Oxford Brookes looks like he's still got something in the tank. In lane 3, Jordan Barnes of Sheffield battling for third place with Oliver Carter of Stirling, but coming through to the end of the race, Talensky is the quickest, 103.83 for Talensky. That's a 1.5 second personal best for him. Finishes ahead of the rest of the field by quite some distance. Now that in lane 8, we've got Jack Chislett of Kent, who is the last to touch back. So a victory for Telensky. Good swim from him. Personal best and a victory in Heat 2.
Just waiting for further results. They have a disqualification to renew. Which was in lane 6 of Falcons. Lane 6 disqualification.
Well, bad news for Telensky. He's been disqualified. So that means everyone else gets bumped up and John Law takes the victory instead. Tough beat for him. That personal best will have to wait for another day. And we move on to heat number 3. Harry Manship of Nottingham goes in lane 0. Felipe Rodriguez, the S-Tin swimmer from Northumbria, GQ Brazil's Athlete of the Year, goes in 1. Oystein of Rebo of Imperial goes in 2. George Alton leads in 3. Adam Wilkes of Northumbria in 4. From Salford in 5, it's Daniel Wilson. Harry Robinson of Warwick goes in lane 6. Aidan Berry of Glasgow in 7. Angus War of St Andrews in 8. And Alex Bandarian of Brunel goes in lane 9. And Wilkes, Northumbria, under 27.5 through that opening 100. He is in the mood to swim. Make no mistake, Daniel Wilson turns in 2nd place, but it's very competitive for 2nd and 3rd, not so much for 1st, where at the moment you've got Adam Wilkes streaking ahead. Felipe Rodriguez, the Paralympian, swimming for Northumbria, giving himself a chance of 2nd place here, as is Daniel Wilson. But no doubt about the victor, Adam Wilkes, 1 minute, 0.15. It is Rodriguez in 2nd place, Dan Wilson of Salford in 3rd. And that's heat number 3.
Heat number 4.
Three heats remaining then of this session. Local time approaching, well, not quite 12:30, 12:26. So a mammoth 3.5 hours of non-stop action for you this morning. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll join us again for the 2nd session that begins at 2 o'clock. But before then, let's enjoy heat number 4, where we have Caleb McKee of Portsmouth in 0. Ian Rashebli of Surrey in 1. Edward Lee, Oxford Brooks in 2. Brendan Johnson, Aberdeen in 3. Igor Zemunovic of Imperial in 4. Alexander Song of Cambridge in 5. Jacob Robson, Liverpool in 6. Conor Lowry, Portsmouth in 7. Tasuku Inaba of Sheffield in 8. And Jamie Booth of Durham making the lineup complete in lane 9. It is Zemunovic turns in 1st place. Edward Lee of Oxford Brooks 2, but now coming through Alexander Song in lane 5. Looks like he can finish really strong, and they're reeling in Zemunovic here. He flew out of the gates. Now it is time to hold on and grit your teeth, bite down on the gum shield, as they say, because he's coming under scrutiny. Song coming through. Has he got enough pull to take the victory? What about McKay in lane 0 as well? Song just does enough. Great last 30 metres from Song. Jamie Booth snuck up there in lane 9 to take 2nd as well, and Zemunovic just about holds on to a top 3. He really had to dig in there. Massive effort from the man from Imperial. But confirmed, Song first, Booth second, Simonovic third. The penultimate race. Kieran Rutter of Leicester in 0. William Metcalf, Hertfordshire in 1. From Northampton, Thomas Boyd in 2. From York, it's Ollie Perry in 3. Dan Wheeler leads Beckett 4. Ian Fletcher of Durham in 5. Ewan McCavitt of Leeds Beckett in 6. From Lancaster, it's Carl Smith in 7. In lane 8, Matt Sylvester from Salford. And Shaheen Al Ghaffari from King's College goes in lane 8. Carl Smith, Lancaster, first at the turn, just ahead of Ian Fletcher, and then Metcalf in lane 1, less than half a second down. But a few early pace setters start to tie up around about now. And looking at the strokes, Carl Smith from Lancaster looks very strong indeed, but coming through here, Metcalf from Hertfordshire. Don't think it's going to be enough though to take it from Carl Smith, and then Ian Fletcher's going to hold on to second place as well. 58.44 for Carl Smith. First time he's been under a minute in competition. So a huge PB for him. Ian Fletcher as well. 59.89 was his personal best coming into this, so he goes under that. Always beating targets. That's what these national championships are all about. And the Speedo BUCS Swimming Series will once again delivering. Heat 5 done, Heat 6 next. Final heat of the session then. Jean-Paul Balakui goes in lane 0 for Bath. Matt Savitt, Southampton in 1. In 2, Sean Quinn from Liverpool. In 3, from Cardiff Met, Jacob Cook from Bournemouth. In 4, Robin Boyden. From Oxford in 5, it's Miles Clark. Jake Thomas Mansfield of Birmingham in lane 6. From Warwick in 7, it's Felix Haslam. Nimat Ukash from Brighton in 8, and Zebedee Wakely of Leeds in lane 9. Jake Thomas Mansfield, 26.92, quickest through the first turn. And he's in that red cap now. He starts to have to answer the questions being asked of him by Miles Clark in particular. Looks very strong, does Clark in lane 5. Boyden just dropping off in lane 4, and Sean Quinn of Liverpool starting to come through as well. Can Balakui get himself a top 3 in lane 0? No doubt about the winner though. Jake Thomas Mansfield, 57.67. Huge PB for him. His first time under 58 seconds. Over 1.2 seconds off that personal best. First place for him. Second for Wakely. PB for him as well. They have absolutely tumbled. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess at how many personal bests we've seen in this morning's session, but it is now 12:32, which means it's lunchtime for me. Not long to recover for the athletes. They'll be getting underway with their warm-ups very shortly, but we will be back with more live swimming from the Speedo BUCS Swim Series Long Course Championships. First swim of the afternoon session will be in the water at 2 o'clock. We'll be back a little bit before then, but in the meantime, let's take this opportunity once again to thank you for watching this morning, and thank all of our partners, especially Speedo, for their support with the Speedo BUCS Swim Series 2020.